For example,
that's how he wants to start.
That's how I start, man. I'm raw. So, Dan.
Yes.
I'm very excited about this.
Why?
As you know, because I was just saying to you off air. I was just saying to him off air. One of the reasons I started this podcast is because me and Dan started speaking around about. It was about the Wiley thing. Was it?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't about. It was about the Wiley thing, but it was around Black Lives Matter.
Around all of that topic, because it all just happened.
It all sort of kind of
meshed into
together.
one, and it was very it was just all simultaneous, wasn't it? Yeah.
So, like, you are a rapper from North London that I got to know and love. Yeah, I do. You're one of my best pals.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to have you on here.
Yeah, me too.
And
glad to be here.
We've had, like I said, this podcast is really between him, Benny V, and I've got to give a shout out to Ilmatica, who's hopefully going to be on here. But we had some amazing conversations around the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Around my shit with my former employers, as I've probably mentioned every single fucking podcast.
But you might as well.
Well, I mean, it's it is what it is, and that's why I named the podcast this, because there was I just felt like everyone it felt like the world fucking hated me. so and even though I knew it didn't, I felt good about what I did, but also there was so much negative shit to come with it. It just sort of felt, I just felt hated. But we had some amazing conversations, and I've always really loved your openness and your willingness to listen and understand other sides, and I've really enjoyed learning about your culture. He's Jewish, by the way, if you haven't worked it out. I don't think I need to start off by saying he's Dave Chappelle type.
Yeah.
All right, because like he's my mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my token Jewish friend.
Yeah, so, that's it. I got my token black friend.
You got a token black
friend. And we're at peace. The world is at peace.
So we talked about the Wiley thing, and it was definitely problematic. Some of the things he was saying.
Oh yeah.
However, I had difficulty understanding why, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
And, I think there were a lot of, people, black people, let's have it right. They were a little bit sort of like, a little bit confused. This is not going to be a blacks versus Jews thing. But I was just saying that they were just a little bit confused by the whole thing. And then, people were bringing up, he's, Professor Griff, who I mentioned in Pedro Barr's podcast yesterday. He was sort of like a member of Public Enemy. He got sort of cast out because he was saying some, crazy shit. But then it's like some of the stuff he was saying might have been a bit true, and it's like, it's all this sort of stuff. But there's still a lot I've got to learn about that.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And this is what I love about this, is because this whole experience has been a massive learning curve for me.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to you, that as much as obviously there's certain, I guess stereotypes or tropes, or whether it's like the woolly, the sort of like the look, or the these sort of ideas that there's like control and power, and and sort of like you guys are like moving chess pieces around the world, like you control everything, and or all these kind of crazy stupid ideas that people have, and then there's like certain truths, and then it's like it felt like if you said certain truths, you were associated with being, sort of against the Jews, and then it was like, well, no, I just want to have a conversation. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, and I was really pleased when speaking to you and Benny in particular, and I got a shout out Verity as well, Verity Raphael. They really helped me understand why these things are problematic, and I really learnt a lot. And then now we fast forward, 3 years later. And we got fucking, he shall not be named, but Kanye. we got to name him. We got the Kanye thing, sort of that's blown up. And then he said certain things. And, DEFCON 3. It's just like crazy or whatever.
Kanye's been on a mad one.
He's been
even before. This is just an extension of it.
It's been pretty crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I mean, I've said this time and time again. I think he's a you know, he's a professional troll. He knows how to get an audience to listen.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't change the fact that, you know, College Dropout, you know, and other albums he's done, a genius. Now, I've got friends of mine who are probably going to be screaming at me saying this. It's like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't, you know, whatever. All right, fair enough, I get it. But I just, you know, in my videos on his channel, I did sort of want to explore certain ideas and sort of try and ask some questions and learn some shit. I know you watch the videos, we've been having conversation after conversation. And like I said, I just want to thank you for being so just open, you know what I mean? And just allowing me to have allowing us to have the conversation.
Of course.
So, what do you, I don't know how to really, I don't really know what to, I don't really know what to ask her, but I guess, I suppose, what would you want, as a Jewish man, what would you want people out there to know or understand about your community in that regard, in regards to, you know, speaking about your community, if you're not a Jew? You know what I mean?
I guess the levels, and when I say levels, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
It all depends on because again, that's why we have to talk about stereotypes and tropes.
Right.
Like, that's a thing.
Right.
Ultimately, there are many different tiers of observance when it comes to Judaism.
Right.
And it's very much like a pyramid.
Right.
And there are some that are very, very close and in touch with their faith, and there are some that aren't. The reasons being is because we're a diaspora, we're a massive spread amount of people that essentially come from all over the globe, because we've generated from thousands and thousands of years, ancestors, and we've been expelled from multiple countries, multiple countries. And this is what I'm always thinking when I do comparisons like this, and this is why I'd like to talk to you as a black person about it, because ultimately we shouldn't be having this discourse of
we've had it worse,
misunderstanding. Ultimately, we've shared the same experiences. So I always feel like there's certain people in the black community, or there's certain people in the Asian East Asian community that I admire, because they should understand. They should know. They should know exactly what it feels like. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where I get confused with people who make certain comments who have maybe direct ties to slavery. So we've been slaves in almost every situation that we've ever been in. We've been enslaved by the Romans. We've been enslaved by the Spanish. By the Egyptians. Endless to count, and even worse, the Germans. And like, that was the worst of them all. Ultimately. Not to say that I don't get along with some German people now. I've got German colleagues. It's not a conversation that we necessarily have. But I'm not going to go and sit there and blame them for something that maybe their ancestors did or didn't do.
100%.
It's not worth it. We 100%. Live in a different generation. We live in a different time. What's the point? But ultimately, we should be able to come to an understanding of, okay, well, we are a people. We are not the same as other people. And we've been mistreated because we are of these kinds of people. And now, why don't we just be like, okay, well, we've all gone through the same stuff. Let's just be like, let's try and make the world a better place. Because it's much easier to do than question every time, oh, but, why is this person there, and why am I not here? And the reason why maybe these tropes and things get put to light and always get questioned, and always like, okay, but why do Jews rule the world? Why are we in these positions of power? Is because it's all a matter of events that happened at specific periods in time. That's how I see it anyway.
So let's break it down.
So I'm saying, like, from what I understand, again, please, to all of the Jews that I'm representing here, whoever may happen to watch this, please, I'm just coming from everything that I've known and read over time. I don't have anything to the top of my head. You know, as you would like me to have it. There's better researchers and better people who are advocating, and I'm going to shout them out at some point in this discussion. But I'm just giving, again, the facts of what I see, not really facts, my opinions, what I see, and what I have experienced. Okay?
Yeah.
So, ultimately, from what I remember reading, around the Hollywood era of when it just started to get big, so this is around between the ending of the Holocaust to the independence of Israel, was around the time in America where Hollywood started to bang, started to boom.
Yeah.
And so did the music industry in terms of black representation, R&B. Again, this was also the times of Elvis. Like this is another big, huge R&B boost. And
Elvis was a hero to most.
Elvis was not funny. Elvis is a hero to most. You know
why? But he never meant shit to me. So.
Sorry, do you know why? Because look, he did champion a sound, and there's many divided opinions on that.
Yeah.
But to the Jews, in fact, Elvis was a big hero. He lived, before he lived in his giant mansion towards the end of his life, he was living in, like, I think it was either a house or an apartment complex, I'm not sure. And above him was living a rabbi and his entire family, Jewish family. He was what is known as their Shabbos goy.
Shabbos goy.
I'm gonna explain to you what Shabbos goy is. Yeah, right, Shabbos goy. I'm gonna give you another interesting person. There might, I can't remember. There's another. I don't know if it was Frank Sinatra. I might be wrong. But there's some other pretty famous Shabbos goys. You got to go and look at them after. But I'm gonna give you two. So Elvis was one.
Yeah.
And he was literally, again, what a Shabbos goy does is basically during the Sabbath, Shabbat, the Friday sundown to the Saturday sundown, we're not allowed to use electricity.
Right.
We're not allowed to ignite anything. We're not allowed to bring objects in and out of a house. Right. You can bring objects in and out of the room that you're in, or like if you're in a house, I can bring a box from my bedroom to the living room. But I can't bring a box outside of my house into my house.
Is that considered work?
It's considered work.
Right.
Exactly.
Got you.
It's considered
work. Supposed to work on the Sabbath.
Not supposed to work on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So Elvis would basically turn on and off lights, bring things, do things, exactly the same thing.
Oh, right. So it would sort of like almost be like with COVID, you had people home helping. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Sort of like
essentially like that.
Yeah.
Another big Shabbos goy, and you're going to be like, whoa.
Yeah, okay, go on.
Is our very, very, very dear Christopher Wallace.
Christopher what? Biggie Smalls.
Yes. He worked at a synagogue around the age of 16.
What?
As a Shabbos goy. So he would turn on and off the lights of the synagogue when needed to.
Yeah.
And just do like anything that a Jewish person couldn't do on the Sabbath.
Right. So you act as the hands and just sort of work or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Got ya.
So this is like, again, why I have so much respect for certain people in certain places who have been there, because I know what they've done and what they've contributed to helping us.
Got ya.
So I can't be mad at every person that says everything.
Yeah.
I'm up. If you want to know how I really feel about the Wiley and the Kanye situation and the Ice Cube situation, because he also was. If you heard Kanye, what he said I have to give credit to Cube for starting this discussion. Blah blah blah. So back in, I think it was either around the time of Wiley or maybe a bit before, Ice Cube posted a mural on his Instagram, which was a very typical, classic, tropey mural of a bunch of big-nosed businessmen in suits playing games, board games and dice, whatever. You can look it up. And it's, as it, you know, they're controlling. The whole point is the game. The world is the game. They're playing it. Da, da, da. Yeah. Ice Cube claims to have not understand what he was posting when he posted it.
Yeah.
And he claims that he was just talking about the bigger media and the kind of, I think what people get twisted up with is like Rupert Murdoch and stuff like that, right? Is Rupert Murdoch Jewish?
I still don't know.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
If he is, not a good Jew. Right? That's what I would say. That's how I would see it. Harvey Weinstein, not good Jew, right? So that's what I'm saying. There's loads of them that aren't good for obvious reasons, and that's like you have to clear them out for what they've done.
Woody Allen, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's clear ones for what they've done. Yeah. You can celebrate what they did, but what they've done to kind of be disrespected. That's it. I mean, like, again, cancel culture is a whole other topic. Yeah. But some people deserve it, some people don't.
100%.
That's what I think.
Right, okay.
You can't cancel everyone,
No.
but you can cancel some for necessary reasons.
Yeah.
Hold tight, Prince Andrew. I think he should be fully cancelled, right?
I don't even know how he was. I mean, he had to be at his mum's funeral.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean?
course,
Like, it was like, you know.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird watching.
To get stripped of certain things necessary.
Because you can see he didn't have half the things Princess Anne and Prince Charles had. He didn't have none of that. Prince Edward
that needed to go.
That all went,
That needed to go for them. But, you know, let's talk about Wiley's situation.
Okay.
So Wiley comes from Bowie 3.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
His connection to, again, his ancestors might only be through what he's told. Okay. I don't know. I assume that in his lifetime, in his career, he's been able to afford to go back to his roots.
Yeah.
Just like many artists have.
Yeah.
Lethal Bizzle, Stormzy.
Yeah.
Many have gone back to their roots and just rediscovered what they're. Skepta, gone chief of Nigeria now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that a lot of these people have gone back to explore their roots. I can only say that the comments being made by Wiley are from a specific experience. He's had an experience where he's happened to have a Jewish manager.
Yeah.
None of us were there in the room, but if this person has been managing him for the larger portion of his career, it's safe to say that the majority of Wiley's career has been an outstanding success.
Yeah, cool.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he pioneered a brand new genre that was just completely disregarded. British MCs did not want to be American rappers. They didn't want to conform.
No.
So Wiley and Dizzy, they took it forward and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna bring this to light. We're gonna tell everyone what it's like to be on our streets. For the Americans to have their counterpart and understand what it's like. We have the same kind of streets. London isn't just London town, cup of tea, crumpets, mate. There's more to that.
100%.
And I appreciated that. That's why, again, I can relate to the underdog. That's the whole genesis of it all, is that we're the underdogs, that we're being disregarded for a certain reason. So it's relatable. So of course I'm gonna like that music. It makes sense. But he's obviously come from a specifically bad experience with said manager, and then has all of a sudden maybe been told things by other people or had certain discussions with other people within or around his circle and blah blah blah. And that's how the words leaked out of his mouth and became what they were, right? And I'm thinking, okay, again, this is all from a bad experience. I personally don't believe that it's right to hate somebody unless they've specifically done something to you that is so treacherous and backstabbing to the point where it's like, okay, I can't trust you anymore. But because I don't know Wiley personally, I can't hate him, but I can say that it upsets me. What he said upsets me. Because I was your fan. I was a fan of you. Like the things that you inspired, especially me wanting to rap and like I've listened to rap over the years, but I never thought to myself as a kid, oh yeah, I want to do rap. I want to be a rapper. It was only really at the peak 2014 when grime was resurging after having gone into that pop window, where it's Wiley and Skepta and Dizzy, they all went into the pop realm, and they all got into that, just so they can get into the clubs and get heard, right? Because it mattered at that time, right? That was when 2014, when That's Not Me came out. I wanted to be an MC. Right, that was it. That was sure. Yeah. My most favourite artist, biggest inspiration, one of JME. I love him. I love him. Yeah. Honestly. And he was on a podcast with ZZ Mills, and ZZ was asking him about Wiley's comments. Yeah. And he said that, he didn't understand certain things would be offensive to the Jewish community. Yeah, because I'll be honest, that's the perspective
because I was like, I didn't get what he said. He just said he just sort of said, like these Jewish, he said something like, these Jewish managers will call the police on you or something like that when, there's a problem or whatever, but they're happy to make you, be your slave or something like, it was something. Obviously making money. Yeah. Right? That's the point. Like, when the money's involved, everyone's okay. Yeah, that's so it's that old trope. That's the trope. It's the trope. It keeps getting recycled. Yeah. There'll be calm around it, but it's not always about that. There's obviously got to be
something that was contentious, something that was causing a dispute. Like if that's what happens, then that's the reason why people might get upset and things might blow up. So, you know, coming from a place of not understanding makes sense to me, and I would rather sit here and chat with you and open up a discussion and challenge and like sit in a room with people that are inherently anti-Semitic and have a discussion with them and just 100%. Try and talk to them about 100%. It. Now, there's a person that does that incredibly well. His name is Rudy Rochman.
Okay.
He is somebody that just is probably the most circulated person who's doing it. There's another person called Yosef Haddad who talks about what it's like being an Arab in Israel, and you know, because obviously it then all circulates into the discussion of Israel-Palestine, right? So he's just talking about, you know, the comparisons between you know, what it's like, what the media portrays it like being an Arab or a Jordanian or an Iranian or a Syrian around the surrounding borders, you know, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, you know, all the authorities, right? He's explaining that, you know, don't believe everything you read. It's not all just like that. There are Arabs that live peacefully in Israel. They get their rights. They're in government. They do have voices, but it's a matter of like control in the sense that we're not trying to control the world. No. We're trying to prevent terrorism. And I think that's the most important thing. We are currently, as we are speaking, are in the midst of the beginning of the World Cup in Qatar. Controversial place to have it. Why would I don't know why Sepp Blatter, and he said it was a regret anyway. Yeah, that's it. But what they had to build stadiums to get that done. Like, they shouldn't have done it there. They could have had a bigger marketing campaign. And I've never seen anybody less excited for a World Cup than this year. Right? Like, it's been crazy. And, you know, what can't you do in Qatar? You can't be gay. You can't drink beer. You can't do anything almost. You literally, you have to behave in order to go and see these games if you're a fan. You really have to live by the rules or you will risk prison or even death, potentially. In Israel, that doesn't happen. No. You could host a World Cup in Israel, and there's plenty of stadiums to play at that you could have a good time, and it would be great, and you can go in certain areas and drink and do whatever you like. It's fine.
But they didn't bribe Sepp Blatter, though, that's why.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But also it's politically controversial to do that. So it's never going to happen. But, you know, it's all a matter of where you are, where you've been educated, what's going on in your environment to have known or learned about Jews. Now, people from New York, people from North London or some surrounding London areas, certain areas of Manchester and Leeds, and you know, they might have been around Jews. They might have grown up around Jews. There's a lot of Jews in South America. There's a lot of Jews in
Golders Green.
And Hendon, don't forget. But that's the community.
Yeah, you know? Stoke Newington.
Sorry. Stamford Hill. No, but that's what I'm saying. Now, it's good that you talk about that, because in all of these different areas, you have, like I said, the different tiers of Jews. So now let's kind of break it down for you. We got secular Jews, who are Jews that have either been or not been educated about their faith, and in a way that they've either been to a Jewish school, or they've been to something that's called cheder. A cheder is a school that it takes place on a Sunday usually, and it's outside of a 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week Jewish education. Either, you know, learning the Bible or you know, going to a Jewish school and having like Jewish education. Is basically for Jews who don't get that during their time to go and learn about whatever parsha, which is like the chapter of the Torah, of the Bible, that is relevant to that point in time. So we're always, every time we're having discussions with rabbis, or we're going to hear someone speak, or we're going to the synagogue and we're hearing something, it's always talking about what's currently going on in the Bible right now. And I assume that's what goes on in a church, that's what goes on in a mosque, and that's what goes on in any other temple of worship. Right?
So it sounds like Sunday school almost.
Exactly.
So wait, Bill Hader, He's the actor. Is that
Hader Jewish?
I don't know. Is it, I know. It's just so many things. You said that word now, and I'm just like.
Oh, because you heard Hader.
Yeah, Hader. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being a div, but I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure.
No, that's cool.
Adam Sandler is though.
Yeah,
we're talking Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Adam Sandler, thank God for him because he championed and pushed out what it meant to be an American Jew.
Yeah. He never really kind of hit it. You know what I mean? He was, not saying other Jews aren't proud, but just saying that he was
proud.
Yeah, he was
clearly outwardly proud.
Yeah,
and that's what we needed. Like 100%. We needed someone like him.
100%.
Then and the secular Jews, they are ones that might not observe every single tradition or custom that's necessary. So I don't know. Might not keep kosher.
Right.
They might not keep the Sabbath.
Right.
They might not go to synagogue unless it's necessary.
Right. Okay.
They might, again, just live their lives as regular people.
Yeah.
Some of them consider themselves to be atheist or agnostic.
Mm.
Now, it all depends on what you believe in, what you like, what you dislike. Again, each to their own.
100%.
But over time, I've very much learned to be more in touch with my faith in a way that's comfortable for me.
Yeah, no, I've always respected that.
The best thing about Judaism is that there's really no pressure.
Right.
Unless you're in those higher tiers.
Right.
So when you're in the kind of mid tiers of Judaism, and for example, I've got many friends that are religious, but they won't look at me, who is someone that doesn't keep to everything that they keep, but I keep some things.
Right, okay.
They won't they won't frown upon me, they won't put their nose on me, they won't be like, oh, well, you're not as good as us, you're not not like that, because they just appreciate me for the fact that I am Jewish, and that I'm coming to celebrate whatever it is, the occasion with them, or even just to talk to them and discuss with them things. And again, be open-minded, learn, talk, have agreements, disagreements, whatever. No one's going to change each other's minds. It's just a nice discussion, and it is what it is.
100%.
So that's brilliant, right? Like, that's what I feel in other religions sometimes you don't get. There might be some judgment, like there's a big necessity of conversion in Christianity and Islam. They want you to be a part of them because they want more, they need more. We obviously would love you if you were interested and really, really desired to become Jewish. But it's either that you're doing so for the fact that again, it depends. Some people consider a Jewish person marrying a non-Jewish person to be right. Some people consider it to be not right.
Right.
And I believe that, it's okay in the namesake of love, your soul is attached to your soulmate, and whoever it is who it is. But obviously, if this person isn't willing to commit to your faith, then, it might depend on so many things and certain things. But ultimately, it's possible. It happens. There are conversions that happen that way. Or you have a very, very specific reason that you fully believe that this is the faith that you believe in, and you will go to the lengths to prove that this is where you are meant to be.
Right, okay.
So, for example, there is, Chucky, right? Chucky Online.
Oh, yeah.
So he did an interview for Vice,
right,
with a rapper called Nissim Black. Have you heard of Nissim Black?
No, actually. No,
okay,
no.
So Nissim Black used to be. I hope I get my facts here correct, but again, Kosher Dills or Rudy can very much correct me. Nissim was your typical gangster rapper, who was in Seattle at the time.
Yeah, I'm just looking him up. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Get him up. So
wow, that's a hack.
Still a rapper, by the way.
So wait, is he? He's turned Orthodox Jew.
He's Orthodox Jewish. He's got 5 kids.
Yeah. Beautiful
family.
So that's spelled
NISSIM
BLACK. Black. Yeah. So you see him. He's like.
So he used to be a gangster rapper in Seattle. Yeah, give him a look. Big shouts to Nissim Black.
Nissim Black. There you go.
Yeah.
Of him there.
Very, very, very beautiful.
Wow, that's a great image, though.
Yeah, but still he looks super gangster.
Yeah.
He's maintained the image. It's brilliant. Honestly, he's done so well.
I love the look, man.
His music is great.
Yeah, okay, I'll check it out.
So he, you need to watch the documentary to get the full facts on it, because I'm going to be very blurry on it right now.
Yeah.
But he basically felt an affiliation and the need to be a part of the Jewish faith.
Right. Okay.
So he did it. He went to the lengths. He proved it, and he did that. But he has gone to the highest tier.
Right.
So he is now on the very much Hasidic Jewish level. He's on the very, very top.
So Hasidic Jew, is what Dave Chappelle jokingly said. That dressed like Run DMC. Is that
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
like
yeah.
The hat and the curls.
And the payoff.
Yeah. Okay. So remember, I'm just being an ignorant.
I'm here
dickhead.
to teach you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So the sideburns, the peyot.
Yeah.
We're instructed in the Torah that we're not supposed to. We're supposed to leave these parts of our hair long.
Yeah,
I forgot why. You can add it in the comments. But we're supposed to leave the front parts of our hair long.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to cut them.
Right.
Again, that is observed by the highest tier.
Got ya.
The Hasidic Jews, if they choose, that's what they do. Again, for the rest of the Jews on the lower tiers, that's their choice. If they want to, they can. And again, you don't even have to be a full top tier, very religious Jew to have to do that. You can do that at any point.
Yeah.
But he went the full shebang. He did everything.
So he learned the Torah.
I don't know if he was bar mitzvahed. He might have done something. I'm not sure. But pretty much, he went through the conversion process, however long it took. He studied the Torah, the Talmud. He studied everything, and he basically has made a family. And in the Torah it says, "Be fruitful and multiply," as it would obviously do in both testaments. And he has got a beautiful family of about 5 kids approximately, right? Yeah. So he has really proven that, yes, the faith matches the soul. And that is exactly where he belongs, and that's exactly what to be. And then he changed his entire musical discography from gangster rapping in Seattle to messages of positivity, motivation, spirituality, growth, faith, love, all of the good things in the world.
Okay.
So it's like,
and he's done that from a Jewish perspective, so to speak.
But even a perspective that anyone could relate to.
Right. Okay.
Just anyone.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, he did a collab with Kosher Dills, which is the Hanukkah song Part 2. Now the Hanukkah song 1 is obviously Adam Sandler's one.
Right. Okay.
Super famous. Right.
Okay.
And they sampled it and they did a Part 2, which was very big last Hanukkah, right?
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to do something again this year, but
that sounds like a cash cow.
Yeah, could be, right? Now, Kosher Dills went viral because he did a Kanye diss, and it went everywhere. You might have seen
recently.
It. Very recent. Well, he got it all ready in time. As soon as the tweet came out, he knew he was going to do it. It just came, it happened, and he started with it. And he obviously got very mixed reviews because Kanye has a much bigger fan base. And that fan base is half of the people who are ignorant, don't understand, not willing to challenge, not willing to learn, not willing to sit here and have the discussion, because either they are just massive Kanye stans, or...
Massive what?
Kanye stans.
Oh, it's Kanye stans, right?
Kanye stans,
Sorry, I thought that was like another... Okay.
Or they just... can't be asked.
Yeah.
Bigots.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But, it opens up a discussion again.
Right. Yeah.
And, I am someone who, essentially, I could call myself a Kanye stan.
Right, okay.
I'm not a stan anymore, but I, again, still respect everything that Kanye has contributed to music over the span of his career. You can't. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's a lot of the Jewish community are voicing very much hate for him. I understand it. I don't have an issue with it because I understand it comes from a place of pain. I'm in pain because it literally came off the cusp of watching his Genius documentary, watching him and supporting him, trying to go through all of this tough turmoil that he's been through in his life, which is very, very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, come on, man. Think about how many Jews love you. Think about how many people have bought your shoes in that community, wearing them all the time. Even in Israel, we got them selling everywhere, around the world. And then you just drop this. Now, what my assumption is like, okay, he's probably had this opinion for a very long time.
Right.
And he's just not vocalised it because it's not been time.
Yeah.
And that's very hard because since Wiley and since all of these other things, I very much like some people, especially in the community, maybe, I don't know if a lot of people do, because I know a lot of people that really don't, they just listen to whoever and do whatever. But some of us are very, very careful and very much treading on eggshells with who we listen to nowadays.
Right.
Why? Because either they blindly support Palestine, either they have an education of why they support Palestine, and they might not have all of the two sides to the story, which a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And I can't go around my whole life being like, right, I can't listen to this person, can't listen to that person, What was very difficult was Jay Electronica and Busta Rhymes' latest albums, where there was a lot of heavy mentioning of Louis Farrakhan, and that had a big, shake for Jewish listeners at least.
Right, okay.
Because, again, it's the same argument.
Yeah.
All of these people are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't even need to repeat myself at this point. It's all very much the same tropes, the same things being said.
Yeah.
By different people.
So again, it's about that control and influence.
Yeah. That's always what it has been, and every kind of new thing that somebody might say or might challenge will just be like, okay, yeah, but you're connecting the same dots around and around and around again, and it's just stuff that we've all heard before.
Yeah.
But now the problem is, and the reason why the Jewish people are getting very, very upset about it is because it's very much like some causes over time, like I said to you off air, that have been moderately more supported.
Yeah.
And so you'll get a lot of like, oh, okay, you'll say to your, like during the very heated time of BLM, you or some other people might say, oh, okay, I see you, all of my white friends on my social media.
Yeah.
This is the time for you to speak up and stand up.
Yeah.
You'll do it to me in person or whatever. You'll say this, you'll say that. But where are you when we need to go viral? Where are you when we need to, the message needs to be spread further? Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes what people will say is, oh, well, you were there to support BLM, you were there to support this, you were there to support that, but when your Jewish friends need you, you're not there.
Right.
Where are you? Your silence is deafening. That's a lot of the terms that get thrown around.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's true.
Yeah.
And the reason why it happens, the reason why the silence is deafening, is because some people don't know where to sit politically. And it will always circle back to Zionism, Judaism, constantly mixing back and forth between each other.
Yeah.
So...
And break down... Sorry, finish your point. I've got a couple of
go.
questions. No, because I remember you told me the difference between Zionism and...
Anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism.
Zionist. So a Zionist is someone that believes
that the state of Israel should exist.
That should... Right, and that's it. Pretty much. Right, okay.
Pretty much.
An anti-Zionist is someone that's saying, right, we should just mix it all up again, or it should just not be Jewish or Israel.
Well, anti-Semitism.
Oh, sorry. Well, so
a Zionist...
But
an anti-Zionist is what you're saying. An anti-Zionist, they basically believe that the inhabitants of the land of Israel do not rightfully deserve that land. Right. And that's why you have a lot of the black Israelites claiming this, because they will say also, it's our land. And then you have the Palestinians and the Jordanians and the Iranians and the Syrians and so on and so forth saying, no, this is our land. So how many people, different people around those areas are making the same claim? No one truly can pinpoint what things happen in the Bible. But again, you've got to go listen to Rudy and explore further on who and where and why all of these things began and how they happened and how they moved. But, especially the persecution in Egypt, which is the story essentially of our celebration of Passover, we were, we arguably built or were contributing to building the pyramids.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
And people always ask, who built the pyramids?
It's aliens. Right?
No, we were partly building them because that's what we were enslaved to do. And, Moses came along, He said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh said, "No." Moses split the Red Sea. He got us all out of there. He got God to send 12 plagues onto the Egyptians because of everything what happened. 40 days and 40 nights in the desert trying to get out. And eventually we made it.
And that was the manna from the desert.
Yeah.
And there's like a theory that that's magic mushrooms, so they don't even heard that. Do you know what I mean? With the early morning dew, this food rose up from the ground, didn't it? It was white, and they're just picking it, and they communed with God. When they ate it, they communed with God. It's like, wait, they're getting high. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's what you said. The burning bush. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. Could very well be.
Yeah.
That bush might have been a few weed plants here and there. Could have been. But again, like, what do we really know? Yeah. Like, there's so much to it, but again, the communication comes from within. Yeah. And there were prophets, so there were chosen people to, have that communication. It wasn't all the Jewish people that were able to. And direct, but again, we're all direct descendants of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Moses. Right. All of us. Right, all of these people, the Abrahamic people. Right, okay. The collective is. So if you go and do genealogy as a Jewish person, the chances are very, 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 very 0.0005% is that you will find, like, one of your friends might be your very, very long distant cousin. Got ya. Because that is just how it might be. It might be the same for the black community in ways, because it's all like, well, we all kind of look similar. Where did we originate from? Where did we come from? Yeah. And maybe that has specification to regions, certain countries in Africa that might not be related to each other, but only within their country itself. Yeah, got it. So, like, that's a possibility. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say and distinguish with what actually is and isn't happening today, because today people want to believe everything that they're seeing that's portrayed in a certain way because of certain media platforms, and be like, okay, but this is it, this is the version. It's not necessarily the version. It's not. And again, I can't say that everything the Israeli government does is amazing. It's not. There's a lot of... But it's politics is always like this. Yeah. It's very corrupt, mostly bad. Yeah. But certain people are trying certain things, and it's not easy to find a solution when there's certain forces... And ideally, I don't understand why people just don't want to eradicate terrorism. Yeah. Like, terrorism, if that was gone... If we had no terrorists, things would be a hell of a lot easier. But if I may, like, some people see what's happening in that particular part of the world as sort of like an unfair fight, isn't it? It's like they see it that way from the outside. Yeah. As a manipulation. Yeah, it's like a manipulation. And, well, what you mean? So what you mean that the idea that, the Palestinians are sort of put upon more? Well, the Palestinian Authority, the government there is convincing the citizens that the terrorist groups are freedom fighters. Well, one man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter, isn't it? We all celebrate, I don't know, Nelson Mandela, for example, but he brought power plant. You know what I mean? There's like, But that's what I'm saying. There's controversy to everything. Of course, yeah. So realistically, 9/11. Yeah. Right. That was a terrorist. Yeah. Straightforward. Yeah. No debate. Yeah. What was that for? To let the world know, innit? To let the world know what? That Americans are vulnerable. Sure. Yeah. But what's that got to do with what they're actually fighting for? Well, they're upset with America because they think again that America. Yeah. You know what's even bigger maybe than it? It's the IRA or ETA or, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's lots of groups like that do things that are go against law, that, hurt and maim and whatever. I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying, of course. Because there's a grievance with that country, you know what I mean? So they sort of like, well, fuck you lot, I want to blow up this power plant or whatever it is. And sometimes they feel more justified, sometimes it's a bit more sinister, but ultimately it's the same goal, you know what I mean? They feel like they're fighting on behalf of someone. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that's it. Like, amongst the Jewish stereotypes and tropes that there are, I'd even say that there's a lot against America.
Yeah.
Because America is so, put on the Western capital, and it's that's where all the media is and where all the big corporations and important things are. So, that's why the targeting is done there more specifically. But then again, like, does that... Obviously, it would then relate to agreements that America would have with Israel based on trading of weapons and so on and so forth. Like, that is probably why, because if America's positioning themselves as an ally, that becomes threatening because they're a superpower.
Yeah.
So they have that kind of capacity to retaliate.
Yeah.
But again, I don't see the bigger picture.
Right. Yeah.
I don't see how any of the attack is going to contribute to any sort of achievement and agreement and whatever. But now I just sound like I'm...
Well, what, 9/11?
Well, no. Just
any kind of attack.
Any kind of attack that doesn't... The cause just... It doesn't make sense. But like, I mean, using children as human shields, regardless of what kind of child they are, training children to be terrorists, like, child labour, so on and so forth, it's like, what?
But I mean, it's like surely it's got to be... I'm not defending anything, but I'm just sort of thinking, well, it's highlighting a certain issue that they feel that needs to be kind of brought to attention. Everyone was talking about America's foreign policy at the time, and how they were fucking over this country, that country, the other. And so 9/11 happened, and then all of a sudden, it felt as though, and I could be wrong, it felt as though Americans sort of were like, oh shit, like people don't really like us that much. You know what I mean? It's like they just sort of had to sort of like think about what was going on a little bit, and I don't know if that's true, but it certainly made some of my friends a bit more, Anglophile. You know what I mean? They were like, fucking hate my country. You know what I mean? But not just because of the terrorist attack, but just because of gun laws or whatever it is that was upsetting them about it. But it was always 9/11 was traumatic and traumatic. Sorry. Yeah. It was a we'll get onto him in a bit. It was a very it was a weird time, and obviously but I grew up through not dismissing 9/11. I'm just saying, like, I grew up through the Brighton bombings. I grew up through the troubles in Northern Ireland. There was always someone somewhere blowing some shit up because of, what I mean? Like, I'm not defending Hamas or anyone like that. Don't Corbyn me. But like, it's just God's
sake. Corbyn, oh God.
Don't Corbyn me. But like, I just well, one of the things I learned is that I was always subject, and again, when talking to you, you opened my eyes. That Benny V as well, got shout out Benny again.
Yeah, big up.
He's sort of like, look, Chris, there's certain things that people always say, about us. I've got a metal detector at my son's school, his kids' school.
Yeah.
They get bomb threats 2 or 3 times a week. It's like a regular thing at a Jewish school, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't think my son's ever going to get a bomb threat at school. Do you know what I mean? It's never going to happen to him.
That's the real deal, mate.
It's never going to happen. Like, it's just crazy to hear a parent, talk about that. It's like, what the fuck, and it seems strange to me that people have such hate in their heart for, from many people would say, well, I know you were going to say there's lots of different types of Jews, but like the most of the Jews I know are sort of white, and look like themselves or other people I know. So it's sort of like weird when you have this sort of like hatred. It's not weird, it's unusual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you have this sort of like, seemingly this hatred towards a certain group, and it always confused me. I say it confused me, but I understand there's hate everywhere. You know what I mean? People are dumb, innit? Do you know what I mean? They'll say stupid things, they'll do stupid things. I've had to listen to all kinds of stupid tropes about black people, and it's one of the reasons why I don't. People are going to jump down my throat on this, but it's one of the reasons why I don't watch. I didn't watch The Wire, I didn't watch Top Boy. You know what I mean? And like someone, actually, regardless of The Wire, even someone was like going, Chris, there was black people that were detectives, and when we were in the mayor and stuff was black, of the town that the Wire was set in. Yeah. So that's not the point. I'm just sick of fucking seeing another show where there's a whole bunch of black fucking drug dealers in it. Do you know what I mean? Basically, You know what I mean? So I really did understand that plight, and I'm going to shout out Guy of Free Cell. Go and check them out. Free Cell. It's a 2-guy act from Israel that I would be working with for the last sort of 2 years. And like, I grew up sort of listening to that idea about, Israel kind of like, sort of being this big, powerful American-backed force who were like, fucking over these, tiny little brown people, so to speak. You know what I mean? And there is a significant difference in the size of the armies and weaponry and stuff.
Yeah.
And that sometimes feels a bit unfair, if I'm being honest. But then, when I listened to Guy and Guy, the two guys called Guy, hilarious. They told me that they wrote their first EP in a bomb shelter. Like, they heard missiles flying over and, and they're Jewish and they would, so it was interesting to hear the other side, you know what I mean? It was interesting. And I'd never heard that before. I'd never really heard that perspective of two Jewish men and what they went through and why their album or their EP sounded the way it did, because it was like underground, it's all like dark and tense and oppressive, and then that's what their EP sounds like.
Yeah.
So, it opened my eyes up to that. And then there was the whole Boo.
Oh, yeah, Boo, yeah.
Boo, he did
that album,
for Palestine.
Yeah.
And then I remember you sort of saying, check, and then look, Boo, Bow. No hate to you. But is it? Yeah, please, Boo. Is it Boo? It's Boo. It's Boo.
Yeah,
like Boo. Like a ghost.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Boo.
like a
Boo.
ghost.
I mean, he's actually doing a thing tomorrow in Brick Lane at Workhouse. Actually.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. But he did this album, and then there was and he's sort of like I believe he's of Arab origin, or he has Arab blood,
I don't know if
I'm not sure if he's
Palestinian.
No, but I think he's he's adjacent. He's Arab Muslim, right? So he did this sort of like album for Palestine, and then there was a guy on it who I'd never heard of called MC Traumatic, right?
Yeah.
Now this guy,
you've never heard of Traumatic?
At that time, it was the first time I'd heard of him.
What?
Remember, man, I'm in Perspective Records. Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that commercial shit.
Of course.
So I never, you know what I mean? Like, no hate. Well, I don't know. Fuck you. If you were hating Traumatic, go fuck yourself. But otherwise, like from what I understand, I think it was Benny that brought it up.
Yeah.
And he sort of said, look, this geezer's sort of got some tunes out there. Or maybe he sort of said, I think he knows that he has tunes. Maybe he hadn't heard them himself.
Yeah.
But he knows that he has tunes that have sort of anti-Semitic kind of like.
Yeah, but the guy's anti everything, mate.
Right. So
was he a multi-dimensional entity or some shit like that?
Oh, is that what he described himself as?
Yeah.
So he gets out of being a dickhead by
but he's from the valleys, He's
Welsh.
He's Welsh.
So what about tropes about Welsh people then,
mate? But he's Eminem'd them all.
Yeah.
He's been like, okay, I'm a sheep shagger, I'm this, I'm that.
Oh, right,
mate, he's on top of it, that's what I'm saying. That's why his fan base love him.
Yeah.
But the guy constantly talks about how many and what many different drugs he's doing.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, so you're telling me that you just like take like 5 tabs of acid, and then you start reading books about, I don't know, the Inca tribes of or the Amazonians and whatever, and you just learn about that. I'm like, nah, mate. What are you talking about? Learning whether or not the moon landing's real. I don't know, whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Flat earthing.
Yeah.
What?
Was he a flat earther?
He calls he's a flat earther.
Oh, of course he's
a flat earther. Yeah. Of course. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, where does he get off? Like, on what point does he actually have a real conversation with a person?
Yeah.
Like, I've done shows where he's been there many times.
Yeah.
He's not he's not like a pleasant person.
Yeah.
He's not somebody that you, like, unless you are established.
Yeah.
Or he's worked with you plenty of times before.
Yeah.
He's not really going to give you the time of day. He's not going to really have a proper conversation with you. He's there, he does his thing, he goes home, he drives to the next place, he goes to the next place.
Yeah.
That's been his life for approximately 15 years.
Right.
That.
But he was singled out though, like on the album, because he had a track on that album though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And so people were saying, well, why have you got this geezer who's sort of like, everyone else was sort of doing it in order to sort of like have a positive sort of message towards the people of Palestine.
Yeah.
And then this geezer was sort of being anti-Semitic.
But that's
Jewish.
his thing. That's what he's going to do. Of course, he's going to go on there and be like, right, well, it's got to be me who points the fingers at the people that need to be pointed at.
Right. Okay.
Of course. I'm not surprised that it was him that felt obligated to do it. You know, but like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he's just recently been basically attempted to be cancelled because now he's homophobic.
Well, yeah.
But he was always homophobic.
He was always homophobic.
Yeah. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Well, it's like usually when you get oneists, you usually get another phobic or ist or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like if you're
But
misogynist,
at this
racist,
point in time, if anyone is still putting Traumatic on tracks and supporting him as an MC and giving him bookings, please stop.
Yeah.
Please. He just doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it at all. Like, there's so many... Like, he's had it. To me, he had his career. Everyone went mad over the bars. But Jump Up isn't that sound anymore. Like, he can spit on anything. Like, I know he's done a lot of, like... Ego Tripping puts him on a lot. And I'm like... Okay, I love Ego Tripping. Their production is timeless. Like, and they've evolved in such a beautiful way. But...
Done a remix of Babylon, didn't they? Sorry.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Is it any good? Oh,
I've heard it, yeah.
It's not going to be as good. Anyway, so I don't care. I haven't heard it. It's not going to be as good. But anyway.
So, I'm like, come on. Like, again, they are universes away from where I am as a person and where we've grown up and what we've lived through. But you can see now everything going on. This is not the person to champion to your attachments, and you've got to you just got to cut ties. Like, it's that plain and simple. If we're arguing things about Trigger and Bassman, for example, there are so many claims and statements and allegations about these two individuals, but nothing is like openly come to light.
No.
So I can understand why they'll still be working with certain people, because again, there's loyalty. There's people that trust them and or have good working relationships with them, and obviously it makes good music, it sounds good, it's what people like, and they're obviously the sound of the last 5+ years, whatever, so it makes sense. I can understand that. But Traumatic, mate, he's got to go. And like, with the whole Project for Palestine thing and everything, like, again, a lot of my friends were hounding on the comment section, because it's not that we're against it. It's not that we're trying to say, oh, well, here you go, you're being anti-Zionist, you're being anti-Semitic, It's saying, okay, if you want to support Palestine, do it properly.
Right.
Do it correctly.
Right.
Get your sources right. Get your charities correct. Find out where things are actually going before working with them or promoting them.
That's right, because you showed me the link to where you can donate.
Yeah.
And like the first couple of sentences were like kind of crazy, weren't they? They were like,
it
was kind of crazy what they were saying on this website.
The opinion is clear.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, all right. But again, all of the drum and bass DJs that took part in this are not necessarily going to know that.
No,
they're not going to know that inherently.
Because they like their fans of Boo. They believe that, you know, he's from a marginalised group. Yeah. And there was a lot of...
Absolutely.
For you know, marginalised groups, so to speak, with Black Lives Matter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's sort of like kind of, you know, sort of, it kind of like made sense that people would sort of support that side. Yeah. But like I said, it's like there's two sides to every war, two sides to every disagreement.
And people hear charity and they do...
Exactly.
Their brains go like loopy. Like that is just what happens.
Because what was it called again? It was Boo... charity album. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, charity album. That'll get you somewhere.
Oh God, I can't spell album. Album. See, this is why we need a. This is why I need a Jamie. So
D&B for Peace.
D&B for Peace.
There
it is. Called. Yeah. So D&B for Peace. There we go. It's on Bandcamp. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we got on here now. Oh bloody hell, there's a lot of tunes.
There's a lot of tunes.
You know, 63 tunes.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's.
And I'm sure some of them were literally people just giving away dubs.
Yeah, because it's like, because it was like, you know, they got, you know, AC13, Annex, Ben Snow. I'm not going to call out everyone, you know.
Don't call out everyone.
No, why?
It's just too many.
It's too many,
and it's like...
I know, but the track stayed on there, though.
Damn. I mean, why is he going to take it off? What for?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like...
What for? Like, I don't even know how... Can you take one track off individually on Bandcamp?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh, well.
But he didn't agree. Did he agree to take it off, or...?
No idea.
Right, okay, so he obviously didn't.
No, I don't know, mate. Yeah, I tell you, once we kind of realised that it wasn't going where it was meant to be going, or it is what it was, we just stopped following.
Yeah,
that was just, you know, we were like, okay, well, people are going to do what they're going to do. Some people are going to support their mate, and that's where it is. And he's incredibly relevant, getting to the highest levels possible. Again, this is a person who has worked and deserve to have the career that they have. Can't trample on that. But we just don't agree. We just don't agree. And that's as simple as it is. And, you know, I don't imagine that Boo would have the time to sit with me here and have a discussion about all of this because, again, his career is elsewhere. He's doing other things. But I don't know if also he would be willing to even hear me or hear any of us say some of these things to him because, you know, he's gone out there and he's made his statement. He's made himself clear. He's, you know, he knows what he believes and he's part of that group and that's fine.
So he's like sort of depending that, you know, sort of like...
Yeah, he said it without saying it.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
So,
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like... Again, I don't hate anyone. But it upsets me. Why? Because I loved Poison. I loved Creeper. All these other tracks that he's got. He's a skilled producer.
He's a
very skilled producer. I'm sorry, like there's no debate. Like he's objectively good at what he does. But I'm upset, and I don't listen to his music anymore.
Oh wow, you went there. You just was like, right,
because you know why? Because this is not the same as Kanye. This isn't as someone that's had a massive effect on my growth and my childhood or has inspired.
So you can live without Boo.
What do I need to go in that direction for when I can go and do other things? But Kanye is such a different topic because any disco, any bar mitzvah, any maybe even wedding, any kind of sort of situation, you might hear a Kanye song.
Still.
And still to this day, because his music is relevant in many different types of settings.
Yeah, it is,
And it's like, damn. Like, and they're super catchy. They stick in your head. And it just comes out of like nowhere. Sometimes he's a very good hit. Sometimes he misses. People do. But collectively, there's not a single album of Kanye's that I can say I don't remember a song from.
I mean, there's some of the later ones. Once he went past the bleeps and that one, for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, once
a lot of people will say that as well.
Heartbreaks and 808s.
808s, yeah. 808
I think that was like the last one that I was like, all right, there's a couple of things in here, and then it was like Donda and, you know, whatever it was or whatever.
Well, what did he do? He did 808s and Heartbreaks.
Yeah.
I think then after that comes My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
You see, that was so self-indulgent though.
But it was such a great album.
Did you watch that fucking video he did? It's like an hour long.
Yeah. But
it was like...
Regardless, there are tunes on there that bang. Period. And they, like, commercially succeeded.
Yeah.
Then what does he have after that? Yeezus.
Yeah, okay.
Mate, what a great album.
Really?
Yes.
See, the thing is, this is me being old. What with me is that I you know, like I said, I was fine up to a certain point, but I just think he went a bit bleepy and a bit trappy, and you know, I don't know.
Mate, he worked with what's his name, Morgenstein, the German techno producer. On
But I didn't really like.
Mate, it was sonically unbelievable.
Right, okay. Well, I'm gonna give it a listen.
You've got to re-listen to that album.
I'm gonna give it a listen, but
it's crazy.
I'm like,
it's a crazy album.
See,
like,
so, yeah, go on.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm just again speaking here from a completely objective.
No, that's all right.
It was a great album.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got Life of Pablo. Again, plenty of songs that I can remember.
Is that the Scoop de Doop Doop one?
No, because that was a few singles that came afterwards. Lift Yourself is a Scoop de Whoop one.
Is that the name of the tune?
That's one of my favourite Kanye songs of all time.
Because he just taking the
piss,
isn't it?
He's a massive troll.
Yeah,
he's a massive. That's when I appreciated his trolling.
Because he was basically saying, no, anyone, you know, you could just put together a stupid lyric in it and just.
And he pissed off Ebro and he pissed off Drake.
Yeah.
Releasing that song.
Why?
Because that song was meant to be a collab between him and Drake that was supposed to go on this like joint album that they had in the works, and then he basically just dropped it, and Drake was like, "What the hell?" And that was part of the end of their relationship.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like pretty much done.
I mean, he seemed to have fallen out with Jay-Z at some point as well.
Yeah. But again, all on the basis of trolling, opinions, and then obviously the Trump era.
Yeah.
And that's how these things happen, right? But then like to you know, say certain things about what he was saying. I can't even remember his name now. Trump's son-in-law, who's Jewish.
Yeah.
Jared Kushner.
Oh, okay.
So, like, to have been a Trump supporter, spending a lot of time around Trump, he would have spent a lot of time around Jared, and then he goes.
I don't know if he spent a lot of time around Trump.
I don't know.
I don't think he spent a lot of time around. All I know is that there was a bill passed that same week when they went there, that was called the Fair Pay Act for streaming. So it meant that all the streaming services in America had to pay better rates on royalties.
Yeah.
And Kanye and Kim Kardashian got like 18 people released.
Lil Wayne got pardoned.
So a whole bunch of people. A whole bunch of people
crazy.
A whole bunch of people.
That was a crazy.
So I think like I said, he's a troll. He made dad trainers trendy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? It was a piss take. You know, he wore the MAGA hat because he was told that he shouldn't be wearing it because he's black. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going to wear it.
Yeah.
You know, even up to the other day.
That's what he's done his whole career.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was trying to explain to some of my closer friends because they were like a bit upset with me when I say upset, but they were just like, they think I was trying to defend his anti-Semitism. I wasn't defending his anti-Semitism. I was basically saying, at this stage of someone who's so famous and well known, if they're saying shit, we can react to, you know, the words that he says, or we can ask why he's saying them. Even that prick, fucking Mitsubishi. Right? Like, I remember reading some of those passages and just thinking, and people are going to think I'm crazy, right? I remember saying it to Marigold, Chris Marigold, Blue Martin, and I remember saying it to him, I don't think he believes what he's writing, right? Because it's written so stupidly, like, and so dumb, like all the things he would write are so like, he'd use really old school racial terms, and you know what I mean? And it's almost like he's just trying to write the worst thing he can think of just to get attention. Do you know what I mean? That's what it felt like. I'm not defending it, I'm just saying...
no, but you think that was intentional
rather
than him just probably being like a total idiot.
This is something I don't think I've ever spoke about publicly, and I don't think they ever wanted me to speak about publicly, but fuck it. That thing where he got caught mixing with the CD, you know, when he was doing the fake thing, he had like pre-mixed CDs.
Yeah.
It's because he didn't want to play out. And they made him. And so he was like, if you make me play out, this is what I'm going to do. So they went, all right, and laughed it off. And then that's exactly what he went and did.
Yeah.
And just for that one thing, I do give him little props because he was like, no, fuck his. I'm not going to do what you say. I'm just going to be a cunt and just ruin your day kind of thing. You know what I mean? He was just, And he did it. He brought disrepute onto, you know, that particular company, and he brought disrepute onto himself. But he left the label, and then he went off and done his own thing, set up a Bandcamp, and he's doing, when you look at his Bandcamp, he's doing quite well. I don't know if he still is, but he seemed to be doing quite well because he managed to find a seam of people, a bit like Trump did, that support these ideas and this thinking. So he knew that by spouting a load of shit, he'd get a whole bunch of people to come towards him and buy his music. And I think, I don't believe in that kind of process of creativity. I think you should create with a positive, even if you're creating something dark, if you're doing death metal, you still create it with the idea of entertaining and being, sort of one with people. But like, it's almost like what, the likes of Cardi B and Nicki Minaj have done, where, they're great rappers, they're great entertainers, they're not the most technically gifted, they're not the most amazing, rappers, you know what I mean? But they create hate, right? And, was it Cardi B said it? She goes, the reason why I'm rich is because other people hate me.
Yeah.
She knew that by being herself, she was irritating and annoying. I think she's hilarious.
Yeah, I think she's
hilarious. But I can see how she'd also be fucking annoying.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So people are like, who the fuck is Cardi B? And so you click the thing, you've played it for 30 seconds, boom, you've made her money. And just to find out how annoying she is, when WAP came out, everyone fucking went nuts about the lyrics. So you all went and pressed the tune, even though you didn't listen to the tune for 10 minutes.
And it became the most.
And it became one of the most streamed tunes that time.
Yeah,
so it's like, I think people have started to work out, Mino Philopoulos and Katie Hopkins.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Katie Hopkins is a different breed.
She's a swat. But it's all kind of the same ballpark. It's like, let's just say some heinous shit. And hopefully, I'll upset enough people that it will make me some money. And, can you believe some people actually thought that about me? Because, I was called one particular individual kept calling me a clout chaser. He was saying I was a clout chaser. I was like, what the fuck? I haven't had my clout chase in check yet, you fucking prick. Yeah? Idiot. I was trying to help you prick. Anyway. He knows who he is.
Jeez.
Anyway, whatever. He's a cunt. But I feel sorry for him, to be honest. But anyway, you know, I wasn't getting my clout chasing check. You know what I mean? I ended up in fucking therapy. That's what I got for that shit. Because basically, it's only black people that seem to give me shit for it. So I don't really get it, like why someone would choose to just glean hate from people in order to make. Because I didn't want any hate. I was just basically giving a work grievance. Like, you know what I mean? But essentially,
but you were doing your thing.
I was doing my thing. I did it. I didn't do it like certain other individuals and make statements to the press and make hashtags and shit. To trying to take down another label. That I know and love and that I work with. And it's just that was bullshit as well. And it's just like he was just trying to make a little name for himself because he got his panties in a wad because he couldn't get his own way on some ridiculous deal that he wanted to try and con that particular label out, or fuck it, R&S, we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's annoying that people do that, but then I kind of get it, because if you're just a talentless fuck, then what else are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? It's like I said, I'm not cussing Nicki Minaj or Cardi B particularly, but they're not the best rappers. You know what I mean? They know what's the name, they're not like, Foxy Brown or, that's showing me age, but Jean Grey personally, I think is like, Rod Digger.
Lauren Hill, come on.
Lauren Hill, Rod Digger. See, no one ever talks about Rod Digger.
Oh, really?
She, for me, is one of the most, I know you shouldn't do male, female with the rapping thing really, but if you are going to do it, just for this moment, please, allow me, Rod Digger for me was one of the best technically gifted female rappers or women rappers or whatever you want to call it.
Of all time.
I'm going to go, now she might not have had the hits, but what I always liked is when I heard her voice, she was just amazing. Like, it was Jean Grey as well. Jean Grey.
I'm gonna do my research.
Rhapsody as well.
Oh, of course.
Rhapsody as well. Rhapsody is outstanding.
Of course.
Outstanding. Some of her similes are just brilliant. Genius. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a method, it's a way, and I guess it's another symptom of the social media world that we live in. But it's just like, I was talking about stock market. God, I sound such a twat. I was talking about stock market earlier on, and it's like the idea of shorting something. It feels negative. You don't want to do it. You want to sort of buy low, sell high. It's like the idea of saying, I hope this thing doesn't work, so I'll make a load of money. You know what I mean? Feels wrong to me, but that's what Matey Boy did in The Big Short, and he made
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because it's like he understands how the system works, and he beat it. He beat the system.
Yeah.
He was like, him and a couple other dudes were the only people that saw what was happening happen. And even though millions of people lost their homes and millions of people became jobless, these guys cleaned up. So they can live with that, and that's fine. But I don't know, it doesn't sit right. But anyway, it's fine. It is what it is. So you've got all this that's happening. So going back to we've sort of gone a little bit off on a beaten track as we always do.
Yeah.
But so we met. We talked about all these different sort of elements and tropes, and the connection between sort of like the black community and the Jewish community, particularly in America. They seem to have a lot sort of a closer sort of relationship, certainly from because of hip hop, right? Than maybe we do here. I don't know.
I think it seems like it. I mean, again, if we're talking about the levels of Judaism, when you go up to the more and more religious levels, it all very much depends. I have a friend who is black and Jewish. And in fact, I have more. I have quite a couple who some of them are mixed race. Some of them are. So
they're not converted. These are people that are born Jewish.
Their fathers are black and their mothers are white.
Right, okay.
Okay? And
no, I know what a mixed race person is, but what I'm saying is...
I'm just trolling you, mate.
My son is one.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is...
No, so the mother is Jewish.
Yeah, right.
The father may or may not be.
So they're like Lenny Kravitz's then?
Yes.
Exactly
that.
Yeah.
So...
And what's his name? Sammy Davis Jr. as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, we love Sammy Davis Jr. Their, inclusion into the community obviously depends, if they've been sent to Jewish schools, which two of my friends in particular have, they've had Jewish education.
Yeah.
All the time. They've been surrounded by it. They celebrate. They know. So they understand. So they also question a lot of the things that go on because, and actually, they, as being mixed race, more involved in the Jewish side of things. And again, one of my friends is now living in Jerusalem, and he's very much like starting his family.
Right.
And another friend of mine lives in London and is doing his thing.
Yeah.
So they are not necessarily fully in touch with the UK black community because they might not have surrounded themselves around it growing up. So it's not something that comes natural to them, and it's not just something that it is. London is also giant. There's also very many parts of London.
Very much so.
And most of us are in North London.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Very rarely.
Where you got to get South London?
Mate, it's not where we came. It's not where we went. That's it.
See, this is what I mean. I want to find out this anti-South London agenda.
No. There's no anti-South London agenda. I promise you.
No. Being an Eastern boy,
it's very much where we came.
Yeah.
And there's the areas that we
it's like north and east, wasn't it?
I should go and learn more about the history of why we came to North London.
Yeah,
and stuff. I think it's super interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know back in very, very old times what it had to do with maybe affluence and areas, but I mean, there's certain areas in North London, with there also being certain areas in South London that have certain affluence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would Tom Holland, still born in Kingston,
Right.
be living still in South London? Right?
Yeah.
He's a giant Hollywood Spider-Man
Is he Jewish?
actor. He's not Jewish.
Oh, right. Sorry. Right, okay,
I'm just talking about South London.
Yeah.
So why would he continue also with Zendaya living in South London?
Right, okay.
Because there must obviously be some sort of great zones there to live in.
Yeah, of course there is.
Yeah, but I'm not a South London expert. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you.
He's from Kingston.
Yeah, is that South London?
I mean, it's southwest. It's southwest. I ain't gonna hate on the southwest. Wimbledon massive. You know what I mean? All that. But Earlsfield don't really feel like south. No, it's not south. Is
I
it?
saw a TikTok that is literally this.
Yeah.
It was like, all these places that people want to think that they're south.
Yeah.
They're not really south.
They're not south.
Like Croydon, you're not south.
You're not south.
You're not south.
Not even London.
Bromley, you're not south.
You're not London.
You're not south.
Yeah, Croydon, Surrey, Bromley's Kent.
Like, there's so many places in London that could be either North London or North West London.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about North East London. We don't talk about North South London.
No.
We only talk about North London and North West London.
What, when you're north?
I believe that I'm in North.
Yeah.
But I'm on like the very edge.
Yeah.
So,
Because you're Wood Greenish way, ain't you?
Barnet.
Yeah.
I shouldn't give my location, and that's as far as I'm going to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm on the edge.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got, again, your Hendons and your Golders Greens and your Edgewares.
Yeah.
Also on the edge.
Yeah.
But Hendon and Edgware and Golders Green, stuff like that, they consider that northwest London.
Yeah.
We're not that far a drive away from those locations. Stamford Hill, I guess it's starting to be north/east London when you're getting towards Hackney and Dalston and etc. And then you've got where else are we big in? Stoke Newington, same place. But
that's sort of more getting to the northeast. Tottenham, obviously.
Tottenham.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so Tottenham is hugely.
Yeah.
That is the epitome of North London, but then if you go around the corner, it's also Essex. I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
That's how mental London is.
Yeah,
right?
it can be. So it's like, I've always just gone by the postcodes.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I'm just like south. To me, once you get southwest, you're not like you're south, but you're not. You're not proper south. You're posh south.
Yeah.
If you're, but then you can be Dulwich, which is sort of southeast, and that's relatively posh, I guess. But like Lewisham and Deptford and Peckham and that's south. To me, that's deep south, as described in I can't remember. It's in is it Football Factory when you get lost in deep south? He was talking about Bermondsey, talking about like New Cross basically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Bermondsey,
because that's sort of like central south. But when you get a little bit south to that, where Millwall and all that, so it's like proper south.
Yeah.
And I was brought up in Lewisham. That to me is proper south.
South.
So you cut me, I bleed SE13. You know what I mean? But there's someone coming from southwest is like, shut up, you fucking prick. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's fine. But that's what I love about London. Postcode patriotism. It's a weird thing.
It's a great thing, I think.
It's a weird thing. And it's hilarious, you know what I mean? I mean, me and Neil Shiloh, who I love dearly, he's always taking the piss out of me being a South London boy. I always take the piss out of him from being a Tottenham boy, and it's just been that way for forever. And it's stupid because we're literally both in the same city. It don't really make any sense. And we've got so much in common, etc. But you know, yeah, we still manage to fucking me and you live there and I live here. And it's like, well, okay, well, let's swap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then what? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
now I live
course.
in Hoxton, and it's like, you know, I've got a different energy here, and you know, I don't feel I'll ever feel like a North Londoner because I'm in N1 here, but I always feel like I'm South on tour. You know what I mean? Eventually I'm going to go back home. It's like, you know, that, you know, I'm going to find my resting place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
That's so funny.
But it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think? I don't know. What do you think Kanye? I mean, I just got to finish the Kanye thing real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think he'll ever find a way back, or do you think he's done? Or I mean, what do you reckon?
So, again, some Jews might want to cancel him out completely, but I'm part of the Jews that believe that maybe in some lifetime, maybe not in my lifetime or his lifetime or whatever, that he could have done something called teshuvah, which is, in Hebrew it means, a teshuvah is like an answer, and it means it basically like doing like a service to to make amends and ask for forgiveness and do right by the things that he's done, and I believe that there could be a possibility where Kanye could do this in this world, but he recently got his Twitter back. He wrote, the first thing he wrote was Shalom smiley face, and the Jewish community are pissed. Yeah, but that's
Sorry.
it was a massive troll.
I'm not laughing at what he said. It's just the balls of it.
Troll. I got that immediately. Don't worry.
It's the balls of it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's his first instinct. Like, that's what makes me sometimes think that Kanye is crazy, right? Like, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, he's not.
No, 50 Cent's right. He ain't crazy.
Yeah.
50 Cent said, no, he's not crazy.
Yeah, he's very calculated.
He uses that as a sort of. And that's why, you say certain things. I mean, the Joe Rogan podcast was fascinating with Kanye because I think there's not many people that out-talk Joe Rogan, right? And I think there was like a sort of 45-minute segment where he just spoke uninterrupted.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of the stuff he was saying in that 45 minutes, some of it made no sense and some of it made sense.
Pure sense, yeah. That's what he does, though.
And that's the thing.
That's what he does.
And, it's annoying. So, I'm going to get coated for this, but sometimes with Kanye, what I think there is, and this is what I was trying to explore with my other videos, is that, again, I was getting to the why people say things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know why Ben Shapiro says certain things. I know why Dramatic or whoever, they're doing a thing to troll, right? Whatever. With Kanye, I think he says this stupidness, but there's like another thing underneath it, right? So, when he said George Bush don't care about black people, he was talking about the disparity in how people are treated in society. He was, when he was, he made Taylor Swift famous. I never heard of Taylor Swift until he did that shit to her.
Really?
Never heard of it.
Damn.
Mate, I'm black from Lucian. Why would I have heard from Taylor Swift? Seriously. Black people found out who Taylor Swift was the minute he went up on that stage. And then, did my thing. To the point where she now is doing Earth, Wind and Cover Fires, right? Okay. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
Mate, Taylor Swift...
Yeah,
very controversial artist.
I mean, I don't really care if she does Earth, Wind and Fire, but I just think
it's more
wrong.
than that. There's more than that.
Why? What?
It's not a discussion for now.
No, what?
No.
Because has she said some shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's not said anything or.
Just that she does date someone and then write.
It's all it is.
So you think she deliberately dates these dudes just so
Family
she gets
Guy? You've got to watch the Family Guy episode about her.
Oh really?
It's brilliant. It's so accurate.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it's like, well, she gets a source from where she gets
but go on.
Anyway, so for me, when he said, when he was talking about what he did on Drink Champs, I think it was Drink Champs when he did it.
Well, he's got 2 episodes.
He's got 2 episodes. I can't remember which one. But when he was talking about, sort of like the sort of Jewish ownership of the major record labels and stuff, right?
Yeah,
second one, right. What he should have been talking about was how we need to get more black ownership of black art. That's what he should have focused on. But what he did, he went down that trope and sort of said, "Oh, the Jews are controlling everything."
Because he thought that he was saying that by saying this.
Yes. But he wasn't, because what he's doing now, he's clouded the argument and he's brought attention away from what I wanted him to bring attention to, was that, yes, he has a point. But actually, Kanye, you had a label, you signed bloody all those different artists, you know, to your label, and then fucked them over, and then you didn't even treat him.
He admitted,
you know what I mean?
he admitted that he had no clue what he was doing.
Right, okay, that's fair, right? That's fair.
Is it fair? It's not fair, because it's not fair to all of those artists who had so much potential.
Yes, you're right, but at the very least,
they deserve better. They could have signed with better labels.
They could have done,
and had bigger careers,
or he could have just got a team to run it for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, just to show, like, you know, Damien Dash is, you know, and Jay-Z, they built Rockefeller. It wasn't just them two sitting there bloody, you know what I mean? They had a team, they put the people around them.
Yeah.
You know?
Obviously.
You know, I mean, even just a quick point, just to bring it to drum and bass. One of the things is, there's always that artist that goes off to start their own label, you never hear of them again, right? And I'm not going to name any names, but there's a couple that were really, really well known, and then they went, I'm sick with this label that I'm on, I'm going to go and start my own label, and you never fucking hear a word from them again. Right?
Yeah.
All right. But one of the things I always rate about Alex Perez is, from the moment he started his label, he got a team. He knew he wasn't the guy to run the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But he put his money in his pocket, and he found people around him to run this label for him. And now look at the successes he's got, because he's got the right people in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's what Kanye could have done.
Yeah.
And he didn't choose to do that.
Who else has done that? Kazwa are critical.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kazwa wouldn't... Well, Kazwa,
or is he not in that?
I mean, look, Kazwa, you know I love you. I ain't hating, because I know we've had a beef in the past. But, like, Kazwa's a label boss in a typical sense.
Oh, okay.
And now he makes tunes.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I mean? He was doing tunes back in the day with some of the artists that he would collab with, and I'm not cussing you, mate. I'm not saying, you know, but I would never consider. I know, you know, I would never say Casual was an artist. I would always consider him a label boss.
Fair.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he's managing bands and stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, fair play to him. Like, I ain't got no hate for him. I'm just.
And what about Friction and Shogun?
Yeah, so that's
another one. Yeah,
so that's an example. So he's got a team, and he's got Elevate now, and he's got
Elevate, of course.
And he's got people. You know, he had different people working for him, and different. You know, I know a couple of people that used to work for him. You know, like that's a established entity now, separate to who Friction is.
Yeah.
You know, Andy C. You know, Ram. You know, it's that's fine, because you've got something where, you know, you've got a team. You've got a team of people. They work. They do the things they need to do to get the label where it needs to be, and if the person that runs it happens to be an artist or happens to be a DJ, fine, you know what I mean? But there are, you know, label bosses who aren't that, and who aren't musicians, and who aren't, you know, I mean, my former employees, one of my former employees, one example.
Yeah.
You know, he's not any, he's a, you know, because he would consider himself a DJ, I suppose, but he's not an artist, or, you know, whatever. So, you know, I just think it's having about the right people around you.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kanye's had that. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He's definitely not had that. He's needed a couple of people. But some of the things he said, so, you know, and like when he said, and I know this is a controversial one, when he said slavery was a choice, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of know what he was, I know that guy gave him that big old beautifully crafted lecture about what he said and how problematic what he says, and that guy was right. Mm-hmm. It was a stupid fucking thing to say. But he should have said, when I mean slavery was a choice, what he's saying is it's a shame that we didn't try to uprise. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Because he's saying it's like, well, we were so subjected and put upon and downtrodden that we just accepted it. You know what I mean? As black people, or as African Americans at least. And, you know, it was about maybe saying that there was an argument for why wasn't there more uprising? Why didn't we just, like, you know, because there was so much more slaves than there were slave masters. Why couldn't we just turn around and just start you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that's that. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not saying slavery was a choice. Obviously, it wasn't a fucking choice. But I get that was the thing I think he was trying to point at, and I just don't think he's a very eloquent public speaker.
Not at all.
And I'm not defending him. I'm not saying, you know what I mean. I'm just saying that's what I think, and I just don't truly think he believes in all those tropes that he's coming out with entirely. But I think he's using things that he knows are going to cause maximum upset and offence to get attention to his causes. So when you go to Paris Fashion Week, you stand next to my mate calls her Clan D Sewings. Oh my God. Yeah, I love that, Clan D Sewings. and you're wearing White Lives Matter t-shirts. No one asked him why. Everyone just went, he's a fucking arsehole, right? And no one asked him why.
Yeah.
And then when he said why, he goes, because they do, right? He just said simply because they do.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, is that a troll, or is that him just genuinely expressing an opinion?
I mean, I think that's him genuinely expressing an opinion for one. I think it's him trying to get attention for two. I think also he said that his dad, who was a Black Panther, thought it was hilarious.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
That he did that to make his dad laugh. Yeah, so he's trolling and being serious.
Yeah,
at the same time.
And that's the thing. I just think, you know, people miss that. Because he then starts talking about fucking aliens or whatever the fuck he wants to talk
about. Yeah, but that's
about.
what I'm saying. Like, he goes off on tangents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that ruins all of his credibility.
It does sort of ruin it.
Major problem.
Yeah.
Is that he can't keep to one tune.
Yeah.
So he'll constantly go up and down.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that you're not entirely sure whether his heart or his belief is fully in everything he says.
Yeah.
When it came to the the anti-Semitism statements, pretty much it is very clear that he could be argued to be just, very, very hateful or bigoted or whatever, anti-Semitic. I think the comments he made are anti-Semitic. Do I think he's inherently anti-Semitic? Possibly, because, again, it comes from that same discussion of a lot of those artists that I mentioned before, like Jay Electronica, Busta Rhymes, who all come around having the same kinds of conversations and not having the full understanding. But because they have had bad experiences, they might see it.
Do you know for a fact they've had bad experiences?
Ice Cube had a bad experience in NWA.
Because of Jerry Heller,
Because of Jerry Heller.
Right, okay. So
That's clear.
So he got... So is that no worse than... I mean, that's no worse than, a woman putting her handbag close to her because a black guy stands next to her on a bus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could argue it's the same.
But I wouldn't say that woman is inherently racist per se. I think she's idiotic in that moment and in the action.
Well, no, she either idiotic or she has absolutely no idea what that person is going through. Or in a situation of. She's probably just heard things, seen things, and thought, okay, I just need to be careful.
Yes.
Especially if she's looking at the way they dress, and the way they act, or the way they talk, and certain things.
Yeah.
I watched a video of it was an American barbershop where a guy comes in and he's got like saggy pants and the barber goes to him, I honestly don't know why you and the kids today are wearing your pants low like that.
Yeah, if you know what that actually means.
What's the point? You're representing a big theme in our history and culture that we do not want to promote anymore because it's a bad reputation, it's a bad image, and it's not. And it's street stuff. Yeah. And we're better than this. We could be on those levels if you just take your time to fucking pull your pants up.
Yeah.
And that's simple as that.
But also it's a fashion statement.
It's a fashion statement that you've got white people doing, and it's not even like, is it relevant to white people?
No, but I don't think it's relevant to black because it comes from slavery. It comes from, I mean, to be honest, showing your pants, your underwear above the rim is like a prison thing.
Yeah.
And that means that, you're available.
Yeah.
Right? So, these kids... I mean, and if I'm wrong, check me, please. Like, just tell me I'm wrong. But that's what I've understood it to be. And there's certain people that are older generations that are saying, you shouldn't be doing that because it's saying that, you obviously want guys up your booty. And maybe some of these young boys do.
Yeah,
it's up to them, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, Little Nas X probably does it, you know what I mean? But, like, at the same time, there's kids that are doing it, probably aren't gay, are doing it, don't realise, and just think it's a fashion thing as well. So I don't know if we should be putting so much into some of this. It's like, I mean, I spoke to someone, during the with the whole indica thing. When the young lady from Manchester who was using the N-word in nigger. Whatever.
What, she what? Really?
Yeah. Do you remember?
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. She was putting up memes with the N-word in.
Is she not like about anymore? Like, has she been cancelled?
She got cancelled from a couple of gigs, but she's back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
Her cancellation didn't last long. But I mean, this is a woman that has an OnlyFans, and I ain't judging. I'm just saying it's a different generation. You know what I mean? I thought it was about talent, but anyway. So my people obviously being the Black Junglers Alliance, I was inundated that day, and people were sort of like, well, what do you think we should do about this? I was like, well, why don't you listen to a Spotify playlist? That'll give you the answer. Do you know what I mean? Because she was at the time, she was 19 or whatever, 20, whatever. She was just spouting the same rhetoric she was hearing from people she sort of respected, I believe. Right? Yeah. I don't believe she was racist, but then there's people going to see this and think, well, Chris, you're wrong. She fucking is, and I've got proof of it otherwise, and that's fair enough. But all from what I could see, I don't know, it just felt like she was just 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 putting up memes, because she wasn't even saying things herself. She was using memes that had the
but sometimes it reflects people's opinions. I mean, it also again depends on background, raising, education. That all comes into a big factor.
It does, and it seems like certain people can get away with. It's so weird. There's an MMA fighter called Mike Perry.
Yeah,
and he uses the N-word constantly, right? And he's not black.
He's British.
No, he's English. He's American.
He's American.
But he sort of looks. They might be sort of Native American or Spanish, maybe. But that's
what happens.
And I think he gets a bit of a blie because he doesn't look entirely white. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think of Native Americans, South Americans using the N-word?
I could tell you a story about that. I was in.
It's like everywhere.
I was in McAllen. I was in McAllen, Texas.
Yeah.
And Jaime, I hope you're still well out there. He looked after me very well when I was down there. A guy called Jaime, and he had his brethren. I forgot his brethren's name. And I'm sitting in the back of the car, and they're both Mexican. Right, and he goes. So one of them's like, "Oh, look at these niggas over here." He goes, "Oh, sorry, man." I was like, "You know what? I think it's fucking hilarious. You crack on, mate." Like, I ain't even tripping. Like, honestly, he just didn't, because I'm not a nigger. Like, I don't see myself as one, and I never will be. I don't. People put so much in that word, and I just think we spend so much time getting upset about it. And it's like there's other things to worry about that affect us more. You know, everyone's worrying about Joe Rogan saying it 20 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, look at the entry rates of black males into college just dropping year upon year upon year. No one's talking about that, but they want to talk about some, MMA commentator making a stupid joke and saying an N-word fucking 20 years ago, whereas Louis C.K. has got several N-word jokes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which are hilarious, by the way. But, it's just like people choose the things they want to be offended by when it suits them to be offended.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people sort of just will say something that you think, oh, right, they really mean that shit. You know what I mean? Like, And so when you mention Buster and Jay Electronica, and you say, because they said these things, it makes them inherently anti-Semitic. I mean, obviously I don't know entirely what you're getting at, but I don't want to believe that if they, I mean, maybe it's just me being naive, but I don't want to believe that, Buster is like, out there, paying attention, you know what I mean? I just can't.
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that he's out there trying to start an alliance and
you know what I mean?
It's whatever. I genuinely just think that it is a confusion based upon believing that stereotypes and tropes of Jewish people are the truth.
Okay.
When it's not. Like, it's just a thing. It's it's an existence of what it is.
Yeah.
And it can't, again, I don't think he's going around and passing on the message.
No.
I just
not like he was passing the Cavoursier.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So it's more of like a, you know what it is? I'll tell you, because I was going to segue into it anyway. Kanye admitted the reason why he is expressing all of these statements is because it all really links to, to his, hardcore Christian beliefs.
Right, okay.
And things that he's been advocating for over the last few years, especially during the Trump era. So, again, he is probably thrilled that some states have made abortion illegal.
Right,
He's probably super happy about this.
Yeah.
And he said that
he's Christian, isn't he?
but there are many things that the Jewish people do that Kanye is either envious or jealous of.
Yeah.
Stop. That is exactly when I knew, right, well, you have to understand that the things you're saying are essentially anti-Semitic.
Right.
Because you're saying it from a place of hurt, a place of, they have what I don't have, because my community doesn't have this.
Well, what is he talking about exactly when you say that?
He's saying that not enough Christians observe the Sabbath and keep the Sabbath like we should. The Jewish people, again, on the Hasidic and higher tier, because I'm pretty sure that on the lower tier of faith-strong Jews, I'm sure plenty of them have had abortions.
Right.
And, those on the higher level have not. They've had 5+ kids.
Yeah.
Nissim Black went and had 5+ kids.
Yeah.
Right? So Kanye is like, damn, well, like, that's what I wanted. And look at the family that he built with Kim Kardashian. Like, on an objective basis, he multiplied. He did what the Bible essentially told him to do. They're all a bunch of good-looking babies because they come from two people that, you know, typically look good, you know. So he did that. But he has said he was frustrated because he doesn't have that time away from electronics and away from technology and electricity. So he doesn't get that experience with his family, and now he's going through a divorce, and now he's like fearing that the media and the teams and the representatives are all trying to separate him from his family, and he feels like he's being ostracized, and he feels like he's being kept away because he's the danger.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis said, you know, someone should take his children away. Why would the fuck would she say that? It's bang out of order.
Because she was hurt again.
Is she?
She's Jewish. Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis is Jewish. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now you understand.
Okay.
Why she might have said that, because she was upset. She was angry. She might have met Kanye multiple times in her life.
I know, but you know,
it's tough. It's tough.
You know. I said in one of my videos, right, like,
because people feel betrayed. That's the point. The reason why some people might react in the ways that they do, is because they feel betrayed by someone that they thought they knew. Yeah, that's why they might say, "Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that."
I mean, look, again, we're not going to go into the victim Olympics.
No,
but because I've always avoided doing that with you, and because it doesn't get us anywhere. But I want people to understand this perspective from you, you know what I mean, in your community, or at least your version of that perspective. And, you know, it'd be interesting if I have any other guests. Well, I've got Verity coming on soon, so, you know, that'd be interesting. But, you know, it's just, I know that you, so remember when I said to you, because right, okay, so we're going to go into politics a little bit now. You said to me that one of the reasons Corbyn sort of lost favour with the Jewish community is because he wouldn't say that he's not anti-Semitic, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then remember I said to you, well, I didn't stop you at the door when you first come to my house and say, well, you're a racist, Dan. Do you know what I mean? You had to say no, and then it was like, all right, we could be mates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
and I'm like, why was that so? Is it just because he's a politician, or what? But why is that? Why is that so necessary for the Jewish community to hear that out of someone's mouth? I'm not an anti-Semite.
Because everything that he was doing within the Labour Party was just seeming anti-Semitic, right, okay. And he was doing things to not, to discourage the Jews of Labour, who were very loyal and supportive to many politicians, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, over the years. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So. They again, it's going to always link back to the feeling of betrayal and the feeling of hurt, and it always comes to that because we've been expelled, we've been ostracized, we've been from all of these different places. So it resurges these feelings, and that's why it's constantly going back to that. So all we want, and then he just went out and said, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with Hamas."
Yes,
that was the draw the line. You are done, mate. We hate you. Like that was it.
Right. Okay.
Like, okay, I said before that I don't hate anybody. Scratch that. Yeah. Jeremy Corbyn, hate him. Wow. Why? Because he openly admitted that, I'm cool with terrorists just doing what they want.
But so again, ignorant question. I just want to know: are all of Hamas terrorists, or is it just
all of Hamas are clearly trying to manipulate the Palestinian people to believe everything they hear about Israel? Right. And they're trying to coach them and the children. Yeah. That they need to be shaheeds and sacrifice themselves to free the people and allow the people back to their land.
So, do you know Abby Martin? Have you ever heard of Abby Martin? She's an American, I believe she's Jewish, journalist. And she's now banned from Israel because she was going into...
she went to Palestine?
No. She went to Israel.
Oh, okay.
And she was interviewing Jewish people, Israelis, Jewish Israelis, on the streets and asking them what they thought of Palestinians or Arab people. Uh-huh. And, some of the most, I mean, you'll hear absolute pure, and I hate, from every single person. Like, let's have it right. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to put you in a corner here.
I'll explain where that comes from.
I get it. But, it's like, if that was, a guy in the deep south, of America talking about black people, you would think, oh, this guy needs to be fucking, electrocuted. Like, and I'm not saying I never said I want to electrocute his waist. I'm just saying.
Sorry, you can cut it in post.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, fuck it, I'm not cutting it. but I don't think, you know, it seems to be, because when I spoke to those two guys, right, they're both under the age of 25.
Yeah.
One of them said, I'm not going to tell which one, but one of them said that his dad sounds like that. He says that, you know, basically every fucking Arab just needs to go, right? And I was like, well, does that sound like sort of genocide? Like, do you know what I mean? It sort of sounded genocide-y.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, it's weird that you would use the same language that applied to an action that was done against you. It's like, I've never heard a black person say, yeah, I want to just enslave white people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, apart from Patrice O'Neill. But, like, you know, I've never heard anyone say that. I've heard people say, you know, he does terrible things about white people. Some of my more, you know, not really friends of mine anymore, but, you know, some people in the past that I've heard, you know, I've said some heinous, terrible things about white people, and I've had to check him on it because, you know, my son's half white. I'm not standing for that.
Yeah.
You know, I've bumped into Nation of Islam guys that I thought were absolute abject dickheads, and I've bumped into BNP guys that I thought were abject dickheads.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. They both sound the same. They just both sound idiotic. So I just feel like there's like a sort of, it's almost like there's extremes, isn't there? So there's like, you got people that are going to say, I want all Jews dead, and then there's got people that want all Arabs dead, and then there's probably a whole bunch of people in the middle that probably don't feel quite strongly as both of those feelings, and you kind of feel like, it's a shame that there can't be like a bit of a conversation somewhere, you know, both, whether it's with the Jewish government, the Israeli government and Palestine. I know we're jumping about a little bit here, you know what I mean? You know, but to go back to Corbyn, I just, you know, to say he was friends with Hamas, it was like, you know, I mentioned Jerry Adams to you, you know what I mean? He was, you know, he was part of the IRA, right, at one stage, and then he was part of the government at another stage, you know what I mean, his life, you know what I mean? So this is a guy that was responsible for murdering people 1 minute, but then the next, he's now in the government and governing people. So I'm just saying, it was problematic what he said, but do you genuinely believe Jeremy Corbyn hates all Jews?
Not publicly.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You think he does it on the sly? Okay.
I think he will never ever admit it in his life because he knows that what we will do to his image.
What happened to
But he'll never say it publicly.
Well, he's apparently living in Jamaica now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I've heard.
There you go.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That's it. It's just,
yeah, I mean,
he'll never openly admit it. But what you were saying about Abby Martin and everything before.
Yeah.
The reason why you might have that, and also, you know, experiences from previous generations and what they might say is because in Israel, the army service is mandatory.
Yeah.
Everyone has to go from the age of 18 till 21, to 20 for the girls.
Yeah.
What they see, or what some of them might experience, especially if they're frontline, is catastrophic.
Right. Okay.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of suicide rates in soldiers, in Israeli soldiers, because of shit that they see.
Yeah.
Experiences, etc.
Yeah.
That's why some of them won't be as open to discussion.
No, because they've seen,
because they've seen stuff. They've lost friends. They've lost family. They've lost people.
Yeah.
To this.
Yeah.
To this pointless conflict. Honestly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Totally.
Like, that's just what it is. Like, and it's sad.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I have cousins and cousins and cousins. Who have either been or are set to go to the army. Yeah. And nowadays it's much easier to do, you know, you can't go to, you have to sign specific forms in order to go to the front line if you're an only child. They don't want you doing that, obviously, right? If you have siblings, however, which a lot of my cousins do, they can go if they want to.
You've got plenty of soldiers.
But they're not going to do that because they know better, at least. And, you know, like, you can do your service and just get by. You don't have to prove yourself. But some of them, massive patriots, fighting for their country, will go and prove themselves. And when you get those patriots, that's what happens. That's just a natural thing. It happens in the SEALs, happens in the Navy, happens in everywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So that's where those opinions come from. You can argue that the British Army, people who go from the British Army, might have their certain opinions on what goes on in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, 100%. Yeah.
So it's all relative.
It's
all relative.
Okay, it's relative.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem with war, isn't it? Because it's like, it's like, you know, both sides, you know, apart from a couple of obvious, you know, examples, you know, it's always sort of like, but you know what I mean, just fucking have a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits and have a chat about it. Like, it's just sort of think, why can't I just have a dance off? You know, I don't know, I just...
if we could just have like a dance off to solve all conflicts,
it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Who knows where we'd be?
It's annoying because I just sort of like, for years, you know, I sort of know people sort of, you know, from one side, you know, in terms of, you know, the sort of like Muslim, you know, Arab sort of nation. I still know people from that side.
Yeah.
And obviously, sort of later on in life, you know, I've sort of discovered different things. I've met guys like yourself and others, and you know, sort of heard other pictures and heard other stories, but it's like, you just sort of think, well, you both fucking sound the same. Like, do you know what I mean? Literally, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I was saying about the Nation of Islam guy versus like, you know, sort of a BNP dude. You know, essentially, I'm not saying that that's a fair comparison, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it just sort of feels like, why can't we all just get along? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a little bit, you know, I don't know, I'm being a bit of a pansy, but I just feel like it just seems so unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, even, I mean, I don't know. I'm probably talking about subjects that are way beyond my knowledge level. But I'm just looking at people suffering, whether it's from the Israeli side, whether it's from the Palestinian side. You know, even with this, you know, this business that's going on now. You know what I mean? I've got friends from Russia. I've got friends from Ukraine. You know what I mean? Literally, like dead set. I've got both friends, and you know, I wouldn't want any of their families be affected by this conflict. You know what I mean? And you know, whatever you might think of Putin or whatever, it's always the people that suffer. And these are the people that aren't necessarily involved in the decision for these countries to do these fucking things. And it's just like, when is there going to be like a point where we go, oh, wait a minute, why am I killing him? What am I killing him for you for? You know what I mean? Why aren't we all take Muhammad Ali? You know, no Viet Cong never call me nigger. You know what I mean? He weren't going to go and fight some crazy war just because this government told him to. And I just wish more people had the balls of, you know, I keep going to call him Martin Luther King, sorry, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Because maybe, maybe if people had a bit more dissent and there was a bit more like, all right, well, fuck you. You know, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, we might not be here. We might not be in the Russian thing or whatever situation there is. You know what I mean? It's just tiresome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there you go. Well, look, I think we've got to get onto hip hop because it's been really fascinating. But I want to find out what. All right, okay. You said Biggie Smalls was
Shabaskoy.
Shabaskoy. But who have you got a top 3 or top 5?
Are we talking Jewish MCs or general MCs?
Well, why being a Jewish MCs? You should be all of them.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do your top 3 Jewish MCs.
My top 3 Jewish MCs.
Do your top 3 Jewish MCs.
All right.
Go on.
So, at number 3.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe I don't even know his name right now. This isn't fair. From Beastie Boys.
Oh, AD.
Yeah,
AD. See, I knew.
Yeah,
you don't even know your history, man. Shut up. Whatever.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, I mean?
Apologies, Dave.
See, I'll get his like Judea's points. On that one. Yeah, okay, go on.
So, I feel like, historically, to me, the sound of what hip hop was at that time mixed with like rock, obviously. Like that. Yeah, I love the blend.
Yeah,
like,
but
that's
Paul's Boutique wasn't. That was the one they did with dinner beats in there and all that.
Yeah.
And that was my favourite.
Come on. Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of so many off my head, and the thing is, we're a minority.
Yeah,
like, we really don't have it. But Lil Dicky at number 2. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Let me tell you why. Because he just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Doing some random... He went viral on YouTube.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, this guy's super funny.
Yes.
But then, he had bars.
That tune he done with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, professional rapper. Yeah, it's incredible.
Genius.
It was game-changing.
It was genius.
Yeah.
We'll go that far. But yeah, it was genius. Maybe for the Jewish community, maybe.
No, for conversational rap.
I don't know, man. There's a few combinations. I think just listen to all the Public Enemy and you've got conversation.
Yeah, no, true. But I mean, like in the speed, the tempo, the way everything was going.
The way done it was very well done.
Was different. And it was just fresh. Yeah,
it was really fresh.
Good.
It was really fresh.
But have you seen his freestyle on Sway though?
Little Dicky's freestyle, yes, but the best freestyle in my opinion of Sway was the second time King Lost went on there.
Oh yeah, of course. No, that's of all.
And then
of all MCs, yeah.
And I mentioned it the other day. Tyler Creator on Funk Flex as well was hilarious. But so number one.
Well, before you've got to watch the Lil Dicky on Sway.
I will do, yeah. No, I will do, of course. I will.
Bars off the Richter.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Number one, Your Old Droog.
Your Old Droog?
Your Old Droog. I've sent you him loads of times.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
New York.
Yeah.
Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Jew.
Wow. You have sent me stuff, and
you've got to dig in.
Yeah.
The guy's releasing albums every 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
He's probably released about 4 or 5 albums this year.
Yeah, that's quite
something like that.
Don't like him about.
No. But he's completely independent.
Okay, no, that's fair enough.
So
he's earning his money.
And he's just done on his last record. It was called. It's not Yod Stewart. It was something else. Oh man, I can't remember. Production with Madlib. Like the guy has climbed the ladder.
No, well, see, that's what you have to say.
He's climbed the ladder on his own.
Yeah, but hold on.
He's got a tune on his first studio album with Doom. Dropout Boogie.
Dropout Boogie. All right. Oh yeah, Dmitry Kudsenko. Known as Your Old Droog is a Ukrainian-born American rapper and producer from Brooklyn, New York, who first gained public attention. Oh, I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but he's really good. Your Old Droog. Cool. I am going to. Oh, why is he on Griselda?
He might be now.
I don't know. Marigold, Monogold, Low Bank, Gruger Mogul, Droog Recordings. Okay, he's got that name.
Yeah.
No, it's just that people also search for, and it was like Mac Homie and then Westside Gun.
Because he fits into that bracket.
Does he? He's the same style?
Yes. I tell you have to get.
So does he work with Alchemist then?
Has he officially? I can't remember.
Okay, cool.
But he, mate, he's unreal.
All right, cool.
He's unreal.
You heard it here first.
You've got so many things to check out.
Yeah.
Like just unbelievable. But it's just because he can literally rap on anything.
Yeah.
Very much your style of hip hop.
Yeah. I know.
And
like my no beats thing.
He's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. He works a lot with Mac Homie.
Right,
he works a lot with. He's done some tunes with like one feature or two with Action Bronson.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been on West Side Gun albums.
Yeah. I just realised. He was on West Side Gun. He's a feature. I realised. I have seen his name.
He's top. Quality.
Yeah, no. Well, if West Side Gun's working.
Yeah, and Alchemist, obviously, best Jewish producer out there. Yeah. Big up Alchemist. Really.
I loved Alchemist.
But otherwise, best MCs, best rappers.
Yeah, all time.
Doesn't matter where from. Who,
Doesn't matter where from, who, what, where.
Okay, there's no particular order. But I said JME before. Yeah. Because no doubt.
Okay.
Biggie for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, very hard to quantify. But for what he has out and what he has done and what's iconic, mate, he was unreal. Like
Biggie?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Action Bronson, that's just my taste.
Cool.
Not initially one of my favourites, but I've over the time, because of everything that's recently happened, I have very much found my appreciation for Takeoff.
Oh, okay. Oh, I haven't heard of it.
You have to. You know what? I thoroughly encourage you. Do you know why? No. But you've got to go.
This is the age gap thing now.
No.
I can't.
You've got to go from a certain. Because I know you.
Yeah.
You've got to go from a certain era. Trust me.
No.
When I say no. Trust me when I say.
Young. I can't do it.
I'm
joking.
Some of it. Might sound like it's past your time.
Yeah.
But just listen.
Bruv, I've got Griselda. I don't need to listen to Geezers that look
and then
like
obviously we got J. Cole and Kendrick and
I'll listen. I will
Benny
check.
the Butcher.
Yeah, I will check.
King Los is great.
He's a great freestyler.
Not as a musician.
Terrible.
Not amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know. I'm so stuck for some.
No,
come on. Have you heard King's Disease 3 yet?
Which one's that?
Nas.
Oh yeah, I started to listen to it after because who is it?
Nas is a head breaker.
Who the fuck said that shit about Nas? The other
21 Savage.
You know what? 21
and
Savage.
He just dropped an album with Drake that was all right.
But you see, there you go. He says some heinous shit, gets attention to him, album comes out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's bullshit. So I'm spitting loads of it.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's. That could be calculated.
Of course it is.
But Michael Rappaport went on and Michael Rappaport Jewish.
Yeah.
He went on a massive rant about 21 Savage.
Yeah,
he's like you don't know what it was.
It's rude. It's just rude. You just don't say it.
Yeah. Come on, man. Like, imagine that
Yeah.
Nas has also championed many up and comers.
Yeah, I know.
And he could have easily got a feature spot on King's Disease 2 because King's Disease 3 was an entirely solely Nas album, which I'm glad it was because it was great.
Yeah.
King's Disease 2, in my opinion, is a better album, but could have had your chance.
I mean, I do love Nas, right? And Illmatic because of the production. You see, my thing is production first.
Yeah, of course.
Because you can have an average rapper on a bad boy production and he
sounds good. Yeah.
And that's for me. I mean, yes, if you've got an amazing rapper on an amazing production, happy days. Which is why Mad Villainy for me is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made. Because you got MF Doom, you got Madlib. I mean, there's nothing more to be said. But in my opinion, but I have MF Doom probably is up there. Twali Kweli.
Oh yeah, of course.
Black Thought.
Yeah. I should have said Black Thought.
Yeah, Black Thought. Guru. Chuck D. I'm gonna give Eminem his due.
Yeah, of course. You have to.
Can't
you have to.
not.
You have to. You have to.
He's a game changer because man came in to like the blackest industry there is and
got respect
and got ultimate respect. Proper respect from top to bottom, apart from Lord Jamar and a few others. But Lord Jamar went at me. You're a tourist. It's like, nah, mate. He did
everything he needed to do.
He did everything he needed to, and he always paid his respects. He never got lippy. Never got feisty.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speech was just proof.
It was brilliant. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Proof.
Yeah, proof, man. Yeah, so I mean, I love proof.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's just it's Eminem's got his due, but like Doom for me.
Being a
wordsmith, being a South Londoner originally as well.
Yeah.
He's from Camberwell. He's from South London, proper South as well. Hello Governor. He's got tunes and all that sort of thing. And on certain tracks with like Blimey, he says in certain words you can hear in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because he's got the culture.
He's got the culture. He's not got the accent. You can hear it though. And it's sort of it's like I'm good friends with Clayton Regan Hardware, and like I always take the piss out of him calling MF Doom because he does have the same sort of cadence to his voice. So it's quite funny when he talks on the phone. But I've always been a massive fan of MF Doom. I did mention Rhapsody and Jean Grey earlier on as well, particularly because I think they just made outstanding contributions to the culture as well.
Yeah.
And then just Chuck D was the voice of my teen years. He was the person that made me want to go and look up about my history, about my culture.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I obviously knew I was black, I knew things were kind of shitty, when I was about 13, 14, Stephen Lawrence got killed, and that was the same time, Onyx came out with, Back the Fuck Up and Throw Guns in Hair and Attack of the Ballheads, and, I remember, shaving your head, me and a couple of mates shaving your head and going look for people to do something, you know what I mean? I'm not ashamed, I'm ashamed of it now, but it was galvanizing. It was like, there's a lot of power in hip hop, like for me as a young black boy, because I saw all these like gods from America, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you had like Hard Noise and Son of Noise, you had Blade, you had, Silver Bullet, here in the UK, and Syndicate, who Spikey T, my partner in Origination, was a member of. They were championing another thing in the episode Soul, which weren't rap per se, but it was like very instrumental and important in terms of like, seeing, black excellence. And I think that was what hip hop has always given me, you know, Fear of a Black Planet is my favourite album title of all times. All time. Because, I mean, it's still kind of relevant today. Like, you know what I mean? The title, and it's a distinct message in the name of the album. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and I know, you know, people will say, oh, Sgt. Pepper's. No, fuck Sgt. fucking Pepper's. Do you know what I mean? No, Fear of a Black Planet is my favourite album title. Because it's not because we want you to be scared of black people, but it's like about the amount of the amount of effort it seems that is happening from certain groups to other groups. You know, I mean, you know, we'll be talking about the experiences you had. You know, it sort of feels like, oh, well, you're just scared for us to just be. You know what I mean? You don't even want us to be. You want us just to be down here all the time, but we can't be over here. We can't be over there. You know, so I love that. But Black Thought, I think, has got one of the best rapping, like best names. You know what I mean? Oh, I've got to give prop. No, I'm not going to say him because he's not a great. I love his voice, Q-Tip. I've always loved Q-Tip and Five Dogs' voices, but they weren't always the most technically gifted. And one person I did forget from before was Ghostface.
Oh yeah.
Because I think for me, Ghostface was that experimental element.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to some of his albums, he's just rapping over another song. Where it's someone singing in it and he's still rapping over it. And you're like, well, what are you doing, man? Why don't you take a loop like a normal person? Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, nah, I'm just going to rap over the song, whatever. And it's just like, all right, okay, fine. But it's
what about ODB?
You see, that his album, what was that, his album called? What was the album called? It's the only album he did, didn't he? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I'm
reaching, I forgot what it's like. There's that skit where he does that thing, and he just keeps it going for ages. That's the thing I remember about the album. I love ODB. I love all that all the freestyle videos.
Yeah, that he's done.
Where he's doing, and then there's that one where he's beatboxing for Jizza or RZA, I think it is, or Method. I can't remember. He's beatboxing for one of the other members of Wu-Tang, and he's like, he's just. He's like, he's doing weird noises and stuff. He was just a true original spirit. And like all the true original characters and spirits, you know, they always go too soon. Oh, he probably still have a contribution to make now. Well, the rest of them are all like in their 60s, you know, like now. Yeah. He'd still be a character, do you know what I mean? Not like Flavor Flav, you know what I mean? Like, but in a very sort of like different way. So I love hip hop. And I mean, I love, like I said, I've been talking a lot about Griselda, but I love that whole languid West Coast, you know, that the sort of like children of, you know, Odd Future. So, you know, you got not Tyler, who's the other one?
Sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt, thank you.
Yeah.
That album, he did some rap songs. Yeah. Listen, when you talk about my man's rapping over just textures. Yeah. It's not even what Alchemist is doing, where there's like a rhythmic nature to some of his loops. It's just textures. And there's another guy called Dave the Rapper. Mike the Rapper. Mike the Rapper as well. Yeah. Honestly, it's some of his albums are a hard listen. Like, do you know what I mean? Because
I remember.
Do you know what I mean?
Back when you showed me one, I was like, no, some of it I was super getting into. Yeah. And then there are other ones I'm just like.
Yeah. But those are the ones that I like. I'm just like. It's like,
I don't know how you do it. Yeah.
I love some of the textures. Because it's like they're not really rapping over beats, they're just rapping over textures, and that's what I love. That it's like prose over textures. It's something evolved from what hip hop was to what it is now. And there's a whole, you know, Mike Eagle, Open Mike Eagle, and you know, you got Chris Cords or Quelle Chris, sorry, or Quelle Chris. You know, all these weird sort of like, you know, what would have probably been considered backpack rappers maybe in the past. And they're just creating, and they're clearly all making their own beats. And they're all people that were influenced by Kanye. Yeah. Because they're all making their own beats and rapping their own beats. You know what I mean? You know, Mike is clearly making those beats. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, I love that. I love that ingenuity. I love the invention. I love the experimental nature of it. And I think what pisses me off is a statement, oh, there's no good hip hop anymore. It's like, just fucking look. Just look. Arm and Hammer, they're amazing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Stove God Cooks. They're amazing. Yeah. Fucking Rome Streets.
Boldy James.
Boldy James, man. I love how he's like, he just sounds like he doesn't give a shit, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
he's just doing his thing.
He's just doing his thing, but I like the. He just sounds like
he's just casual.
He sounds like he's rapping, like, you know what I mean? He's
like
on
the bed. He's got the microphone there above him, and he's just chilling.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that footage of Marvin Gaye when he's lying on the couch just singing beautifully. It's like, who does that?
Oh man.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, hip hop has always been a major part of my life, and it's how we met. There is even a tune that exists.
We've got plenty of tunes.
We have got a couple, haven't we?
We've got a few.
We've got to go back and sort them out.
Yeah.
But there's even a tune where we collab and I do rap on it. But
Which I've still not heard the verse for, and I'm still waiting.
I did play the verse.
No, you didn't.
I did play it because you told. I did.
You played a draft.
Yeah, no, but I didn't really go back in on it. I kind of like what I did. Well, I think. You know what?
Give it time and then send it to me with your verse on it so I can hear it.
No, but I think I'm going to write a different verse now because that was how I was feeling.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time I was like, you know, fucking whinging about.
Yeah, but...
Whinging about a woman.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll change it.
Yeah, and I'll change it. I think I'll write something else because it was an attempt to... fuck it, it's alright. It was an attempt to win someone back.
And this is now.
And it's like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, that was then, this is now.
Well, that was a different thing because the first one was about... Anyways.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, I mean, before I go, I would like to say to, again, my community, all of my friends, family, all the Jewish people I know.
Yeah.
Everything that I've given on this, conversation, I hope that I've done as well as I could to represent us and not, fallen through any potential holes that, with my own speech and my own opinion, obviously, that might be against what we believe or what is essential or, research and important that we need to amplify. Again, if I've missed anything out, please feel free to comment and add that in because I'm not here to, be anyone's enemy. I'm literally just here to, I'm a friend of Chris and I'm here to, speak for as many people as I can possibly speak for. I can't speak for all of us, of course.
No.
And, I've just given everything that's on the top of my head and I hope that you can understand and respect that and, I'm just, I totally understand if some of the things I've said you might think that I may not be understanding it enough or not supportive enough or not seeing certain sides that I need to be seeing or so on and so forth. I'm just purely thinking, and that's how I always think, from an objective point of view of, well, what is clear and what isn't clear and then obviously there's a bit of subjectivity in it, of whether I have opinions on certain people's music or thoughts, regardless of, separation of the art from the artist and so on. But, I'm just trying to kind of say how I feel in order to obviously give Chris more of a booster to understand our perspective and where we're coming from and why we are upset about a lot of these statements being made and a lot of the discussion being had and the fact that there should be more being done about it. And obviously that is a way bigger conversation, but again, like that we want to just, get as much support and as much alliance as we possibly can
100%.
Because, that's what we need. We need to be having conversations. We need to be having challenging conversations and we can't just be cancelling left, right and centre and we can't just immediately throw everything out the window.
Unless you're Jeremy Corbyn, of course.
Yes. Of course. Yeah. You can go. But yeah, we need to just that's it. The society and the growth and the coming together is never gonna, happen if we don't sit here and have these conversations and be honest. Because otherwise, we're just silencing it all, or we're just pointing fingers, or we're just saying, all right, well, he's gone against us, not relevant anymore. Bye bye. Disregard. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure some of you may feel that way, but again, I believe that everyone is capable of having some sort of redemption. Obviously there's a lot to do to be fully redeemed and it's not easy to do, but yeah, I'm obviously clearly not happy and upset with statements and comments that have been made and that have been circulating around the media. It doesn't it pains me to have to feel the way I feel about these artists, but what can I do? My people come first, and that's like that's the primary thought that I had going into this conversation and why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. And again, I just hope you can appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
As worst comes to worst, my people come first.
Yeah.
I just remember that tune. That's a bad tune. I think on that note, that's beautifully done.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jewish community, I think you're great.
Yeah.
So, and then can someone make sure I get invited to Rosh Hashanah?
You want to get invited to Rosh Hashanah, Purim, Hanukkah, Pesach.
What's
Passover.
Oh yeah. Right,
Pesach.
okay, you say right, Pesach.
What else can we invite you to?
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
I want in
Simchat Torah.
Yeah.
Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Right.
All of them.
I want all of them.
Yeah,
I want to invite.
Someone invite him.
Please.
Yeah.
Your family, anyone's family.
Let's invite him.
I want to go. I want to learn. I want to find out.
Yeah. Please. I encourage anyone that I'm friends with to invite him to have a conversation.
And by the way, I'm not doing this because you think I was going down an anti-Semitic route by asking questions about Kanye, as I'm sure some of you will probably sort of like go, he's getting his Jewish friend out, blah, blah, blah. Totally Jewish friend. No. It's just that this literally has been, 3 years? Almost. 2.5 years conversation between me and him.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about his community and his religion and his culture. And I think there's been aspects of, my black Britishness, if you like, that I think has enriched you. And I don't really see what's, there's no harm. I
think it's perfectly normal to have conversations about these things, and you got to do it. It's got to be done. I just hope that no one misinterprets where I'm coming from.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think people. I've had many other conversations with many other people, and I just hope that if there's anything that I've missed. And that could be added in, and it could be filled into even me and the both of us.
Link, comment, subscribe.
Say everything, fill in the gaps.
And look, if there's anyone that's out there that feels particularly strongly about it, I am all up for having that conversation. Like I didn't really want this to be. I mean, obviously, I'm a junglist at heart. You know what I mean? They're my people. That's the other J word. You know
Junglist movement.
Junglist movement. Yeah. I just want this to be an open discourse and have a good chat about anything. You know what I mean? And just let's be intelligent and respectful with it, and you should be fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like some of those idiots that we were talking about. During this thing, whose name we're not going to mention anymore. So on that note, I think love to you all.
Yeah, man.
Love to you.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, brother. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Take care.
All the best.